night in with MauLer and the drinker, getting trashed with the web's free thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop off the cork, have a glass of wine, as they'll say, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, MauLer and the critical drinker.
Well, that sounds about time for us to do this whole live streaming thing. What do you reckon?
Yeah, Thursday.
Woohoo! Thursday. The thinking man's Friday.
Yeah.
It's never too soon to start drinking.
The weekend. That's our whole plan, is to keep chiseling away until the weekend is just all of the week.
I think so, yeah. And you could commiserate the week ending on the Monday or the Tuesday as much as you want to roll it forward and get drunk for that, and then celebrate it starting, and then carry on drinking all the way through. It's a foolproof plan as far as I'm concerned.
I think so too.
But yeah, we're now up into open bar 40, so we're into the 40s now. We've done 40 of these things.
It is insane.
Yeah.
Someone should stop us or
I know.
bolster us.
Yeah. Well, we've just got enablers, really. I think that's what we look at our subscribers as. They enable us.
It's all your fault.
Yeah, you made us do this. Anyway, well, we should bring our guests in tonight. We're still waiting on one of them, but we've got the other two ready to go. So let's bring them in, shall we?
Do it.
First up, we have the one, the only, the Az.
Hello.
Yay! Hey,
How
man.
are you? Bring us in second. I've got a gag.
Okay, hold on. I'll take you out.
Nobody saw it. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, we've got the one and only Movie Cynic. Hey, man.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, well, you're here because I met you when I was at the con in Atlanta, and came over, had a chat, and mentioned that you kind of would like to do some live streaming stuff with us, and I thought, why the hell not? It'd be good to bring you in. So thanks for
Much
agreeing to do this, man.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 year tomorrow is when I started the stream, so hell of a way to celebrate right here, being on open bar. Appreciate the invite.
Yay!
Yeah. Well, hopefully by tomorrow you won't remember any of it. We're getting pretty drunk tonight, so. Anyway, man, thank you for doing this, and well, we've got our second guest of the evening, who we haven't mentioned before, but it is Az.
Hi. Wow. I never thought I'd stream with Ninja, but here we are.
That's my favorite compliment when I'm walking around in the streets of Nashville. What's up,
him.
Ninja?
It was
like,
worth it.
I could go home now. Everything.
Yeah, it was
Done.
like...
I'll see you next time, dude. Okay.
All right, thanks, Az. Sorry, I'll bring him back in.
Brilliant.
Yeah, man.
Hi. How you doing?
We are doing lovely. It's good to have you on again, mate. It's been a while, actually. It's been a couple of months, I think. Time flies.
I don't know. To me, it
Yeah,
feels
what
like
you
just a
did.
couple of weeks ago.
I haven't talked to you in months. Or
I
maybe
know.
days.
I know.
If there's
It's
one
like-
thing you guys need to do, it's to hang out more.
Yeah.
As it's about time, you know.
Clarkson's Farm. Got to do it.
Oh, I know.
Man. Did you see season 2?
I'm not
seen
allowed to
season
watch
one.
it because I got to save it for those fuckers, and they're taking 10 years to get ready for things. I'm
Oh my
blaming
god,
you.
I can't believe it. I've
Happy
seen
one.
something you haven't.
Not fair. I would have seen it if I wasn't waiting to be surprised. See, I don't know what's going to happen on the farming show. You know, like it could be anything.
It's so like, because you know, we're used to watching like movies where the fate of all of reality is at stake, and then we go from that to like a guy fighting with his local planning office because he wants to get a farm track put in.
I
they
was
won't
Oh,
let him.
riveting as well.
And yeah, it's more interesting.
In Phase 3, had there just been a retired superhero trying to get his farm in working order, that could have been fucking good.
Hawkeye.
You
Hawkeye's
yeah,
farm was gonna
Hawkeye.
be-
Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like he wants to build a small restaurant there to sell like you know, homegrown food and everything, and the local council won't let him do it. Perfect, you know. That's,
And you have like
riveting.
discovers with like the radio or whatever, like, oh, there's an alien landing in, you know, wherever, and the Iron Man has destroyed it with an enormous laser, and Hawkeye's like, oh, okay, I guess they didn't need me, huh? They didn't even call me. Like, whatever, fine.
You just see him glance towards his bow and arrow, just like next time.
Yeah.
But hey ho, well, I mean, we got a bunch of things that we're going to cover tonight, but I'm not sure what order you guys want to do it. We could just go in the order that I plonked them on the title there, if you like. What do you think?
I
Are you guys ready to get empowered?
I want to be empowered. Let's do
You've
it.
not seen this. You've not seen this video, have you,
All,
MauLer?
all I know is that there's some like all-girl poster or something. And I was like, oh great, they're trying this again. Didn't this fail miserably at Endgame? It's like the most like humiliated scene in all of the MCU when they all team up.
Well, I know, but I think this time they're going to nail it because it's International Women's Month or something. I don't know. Like we just have to celebrate women the whole month, whatever. And so, like, yeah, you know, Marvel want to do their bit and recognize the fantastic female characters they've created, like Scarlet Witch tries to annihilate an entire universe, or Captain Marvel, who killed the Dawn.
Dude, come on. She was doing it for her fake kids. Come on.
Hey, remember
She knew for a week.
remember Black Widow's mum or whoever that was, Rachel Weisz played, who like she like did horrible experiments that cost torture and suffering across scores of people that no one gives a shit about because she's kind of funny now.
Well, the thing is, it's okay when women do it, MauLer, don't you know? But we're hopefully going to learn a few things from this trailer, because this is actually the trailer for a 4-part series, which I'm sure you guys can't wait to watch on Disney Plus. You can apparently stream it right now.
It's not animated. I actually watched a little bit of one episode before I hopped on here. So what it is it's basically like a docu-series that's female empowerment, and they're breaking down the evolution of the character from the comic book into the movie realm. And I watched a little bit of the Captain Marvel one, and what they decided to do was talk about how they made her a much more relatable independent fighter pilot, because everyone's a fighter pilot. And I just I found it really interesting that they decided to like market a character that's all about they said it's all about getting past your struggles, being defeated, but getting back up again. And they're marketing it to a generation that has no interest in earning anything on their own. It's victimhood status that's much more
they like the aesthetic,
though. They do like the aesthetic.
And so they'll grab that up and install it on their phone. Like, I'm a person who works hard.
What I can do is play this lovely trailer that they put together, and we can stop it occasionally so we don't get copyright struck and discuss, but mostly so we don't get copyright struck. Are you ready, gentlemen? Prepare yourselves.
Let's see.
All right, here we go.
We've never seen a world like this populated.
Seriously?
I actually,
I just want you to stop. I just want it all.
Well, there is a problem. Putting the three ladies we just saw, one of them is not like the others. Like, did we forget who this one is? Like...
Yeah. Again, it's like, she's a genocidal lunatic who will happily destroy entire civilizations, but it's fine because it's empowering.
I like how you say civilizations. You downplaying it, okay? Downplaying it when you say civilizations. Like, gotta go up. She's and remember, she had good reasons. So.
Okay, well, you're gonna get more of that soon, MauLer. You're gonna love this. Trust me. Here we go.
With so many different faces and colors, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Because I want to add, by the way, we never had different people of different ethnicities and genders in movies until Marvel.
Never.
So.
Well, it is.
Well
don't you
done.
think it's really weird that immediately after saying different colors, they show like a big postery thing with Gamora? And
Gamora.
It's like, are you saying? Are you proud of yourself for having a green person? It's like, okay, fine,
First
sure.
original green person of color.
It's like, don't you think the Hulk is like, no, Gamora, she's original green.
Let's see what else we can.
Gamora was green before She-Hulk.
Yeah, she was green before it was cool.
To show these boys how we do it.
Oh.
We're all recognizing that these stories need to be told about women.
Monday for vulnerability in her.
Can we name a single story about a woman?
I mean, Black Widow was kind of about a woman, I guess.
I mean, it's about. There's a woman physically there, but what is the woman's story that's being told?
Well, Captain Marvel did address some of the sexism she faced in her workplace.
Well, girl needs to get herself back in the kitchen and shut the fuck up.
Wow, that's a women's story or whatever. You asked for that. You got it. All right.
You know, they interestingly left that part out from the Brie Larson one, the Captain Marvel episode. They didn't address the sexism she faced in the movie.
Wow.
Damn. I hope they address the Dawn.
That guy
She
said
was
there's a
such a
reason they call it
miserable
a cockpit, and that's when I knew that he was the villain.
Yeah.
Why is that not a vagina pet? I mean, come on.
The real enemy of Captain Marvel was the patriarchy.
And she defeated it.
But hey, we got Wanda here, and like this is a woman's story because she wants to be a mum, but she isn't. But she wants to have fake kids,
So she will steal them from another mother. That's very wholesome or something.
This is weirdly relatable, actually, for a lot of millennial women, I would imagine.
Oh, she went to
I
a
want to
town.
have kids, but I'm too old now, and no one wants me. God damn it!
She went to a town, took it over to get over her fake husband, created some fake kids, and then just tried to destroy all the universes for her fake kids that she know. I mean, that's a great woman story.
He's already pissed because you're reminding me of how she did indeed create fake Vision, but then fake Vision gave his memories to the reassembled real Vision body, and thus he is basically Vision, and then she forgot he existed completely.
Yeah.
And so did he.
He's probably off finding himself, you know.
He's finding a Disney Plus show to be a part of.
Like, which one? Funny. I bet you he comes back as a female Vision. I bet you.
Can only hope.
All right, let's do a little bit more if you can stomach it.
Emotional life is when she's at her most powerful.
It's important to recognize yourself. You could watch it and think, people that look like me, we can be superheroes too.
I don't think anyone ever really questioned that. I paused this at the most horrible moment. Whoa. That is ludicrous. I didn't even mean to do it. But yeah, this argument, man.
Yeah, I mean it's a tired one. It's a lame one. We don't really need to go over like when you list all your most inspirational characters. Turns out the white males don't list all the white males. They've got plenty of people in there that are not white males. How is that possible? And vice versa with anyone else.
Monica Rambeau debuted in the comics in 1982.
Yep.
But Marvel said women of color not there.
Well, yeah, they pushed back having female-led movies until they realized they could make money from it, and then
remember that Linda Carter series called Wonder Woman? It was really popular in the 70s and early 80s.
No, which one's that?
You're confused. That never existed.
She's like a detective, and she wonders about the cases or something.
Yeah, she's like, I wonder what a woman should do. And then men just tell her stuff. She wasn't the hero of her own story.
Imagine they like released a trailer, like a competing company like DC, and it's filled with like white male heroes. And they're like, we need more of these because men no longer have someone to look up to. People be like, oh my god.
No, if this was DC, it'd be like every hero's now gay. It'd be the gay heroes of DC.
This is the gay era.
All right, let's see what else we got from this wonderful trailer.
It's so important for women to be behind the scenes as well. We need all those voices at the table.
You know, I just have to stop it there and say, you need all those female voices at the table, but when you're making a female-led show like She-Hulk, you apparently don't need any male voices. So, like, it's interesting how that door only swings one way.
It is crazy that in She-Hulk, they had to create fake men for their writer's room for the fourth wall breaking scene when their whole writer's room was just women. They're like, shit, we need to put some male diversity into the room.
Just the fact that the trailer there's like quoted is like, we need more female voices in the behind the scenes and in front. The drink goes, let me stop you there.
It's like no reason. I just want to stop you. Oh god! All right, it's cringe as fuck. But okay, let's go. Let's carry on. We can get to the end of this. Empower us all, but it doesn't empower us because we're not the kind of people they want to empower.
Yeah, this only empowers the women's apparently.
I learned when you are tested, you're stronger, taller, bigger than you thought.
I'm not interested in the glass
What
ceiling.
does that mean? But that's
stronger
not
and
even
taller.
factually correct. You can't grow physically because of this woman.
I have to ask as well, like, in what way was Captain Marvel ever tested in her movie?
She
In what
literally
way was she challenged?
She went from God mode to God mode, hyper God mode. Like, and how did she do it? She just did. She was in that stupid trap room, and then she just went like, you know what? I'm more powerful than I even thought I was. It's like, okay, off you go, love. That's it.
And that's why that episode was so interesting too, because she really didn't face any adversity once she became Captain Marvel. The only time she did was during boot camp and stuff when she faced the sexism, which they skip over in the episode.
Yeah, like that's literally just a flashback as well in the movie that lasts for seconds, and it doesn't really give you anything to like her struggle. It's just
it's part of what I find fascinating about Captain Marvel. How do we chat? Like, she has her movie where she is lower powered, and so people like Jude Law might be able to actually make a difference. But by the end of it, no one can. She's like unstoppable. It's like, so how do we make a difference when she turns up an Endgame? It's like, well, Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, even the Power Stone, he manages to actually batter off. It's like, oh, thank God. It's like, how are we going to maintain stakes when she pops up again?
Well, they've got that covered in the Marvels, because apparently, like, if any of the three Marvels try to use their powers, they swap places with each other or something. Which, you know, literally, they're so awesome. The only thing that can hold them back is
why are they connected?
themselves.
Like, the three origins of their powers are entirely different, like, forms of technology, era, and, like, I don't know, logistics. Like, I don't know why. What are they connected by?
I never really understood how Monica Rambeau got her powers in the first place. She just kind of walked through a barrier, and it's like suddenly she's like super-powered, energy-absorbing girl.
Yeah, it was awful.
Like, why? Don't know.
I thought it was energy plus affirmation equals woman power. Because she had all those affirmation voices going, "Is so amazing."
I don't know. Like, it's going to get to the point, because
through.
I feel like the you know, the laziness factor is creeping in more and more with these characters. It'll get to the point where they approach like a big vending machine, and it's just like press a button to have your superpowers dispensed, and it's just like, you know, what have I got? Like, the power to turn invisible while shitting out lightning bolts or something. Like, and that'll be my power.
It's already
like,
here.
That'll be all it is.
Ms. Marvel had her superpowers delivered by mail, by post.
What's wrong with that, Ass?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I mean, that's a great hero's journey for me, you know. Knock, knock.
Yeah.
Who's that postman? Yeah, what you got? Can you sign for these superpowers, please? Sure. That's what Ms. Marvel did.
Yeah, remember Tony Stark? Remember how there was quite a well-developed reason of cause and effect why he was put in a cave with a bunch of terrorists, and he had to use like his own ingenuity and like his innate character traits to build himself an arc reactor that ultimately became the source of his power. That was cool. I like that. That was well developed.
While trying to undo the damage that his company had done by selling weapons that had gone into the wrong hands.
They didn't give you much reason for why he was like an intelligent, creative person, other than his dad being his mentor for the majority of his life, and he's also incredibly creative, and the whole company having enough money to support any kind of, you know, lessons and crafts you could ever be interested in, going to the best schools and having plenty of time to learn it all.
Anyway, let's see what other pearls of wisdom they can dispense.
I'm interested in the brick wall. Because if I take down the brick wall, then we can redesign the building. And that's the only way to go forward.
Wait,
I'm sorry, what?
What the fuck did I just hear?
Building, we can redesign it?
You heard bullshit.
What?
You heard absolute
This is
bullshit.
like, since we're speaking in tortured metaphors, it's like, well, I don't just go to drink at the bar. I drink the bar. And then I eat the bar so that I can redesign the bar into something better.
Into a restaurant.
You know, people say practice makes perfect, but I think we should just make perfect. You're like, okay, like, what
right?
Is this? What? You're not allowed.
What is this bullshit? This is what happens when you put idiots in charge of like multi-million-dollar productions.
What's the wall?
It's the bad thing that currently exists. She said,
But
if you
it doesn't
rewind
exist
it,
because
during
they have
curfew-
the jobs.
So
They have the
she said, "I
jobs-
don't want to smash the glass ceiling. I want to destroy the wall and rebuild it."
because
see.
that would also take the ceiling down at the same
in the
time.
building.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Let's get this again so we can get all of it.
Or bigger than you thought.
I'm not interested in the glass ceiling. I'm interested in the brick wall. Because if I take down the brick wall, then we can redesign the building. And that's the only way to go forward.
Why is that the only way to go
Architect,
forward?
then!
What?
Become a fucking architect, for Christ's sake!
No, wait. You know what this reminds me of, right? You know in The Simpsons where Kang and Kodos become like Bill Clinton and Bob Dole, right? And they're like going for a presidential election. Like they put on their bodies like skin suits, and they have to give a campaign pledge, and it's just like the most mindless bullshit. Like we must move forward, not backward, upward, not downward, and always twirling towards freedom. Like, that's the kind of meaningless shite that you're getting here. It's just like, give me some vaguely positive affirmations of something. That'll do, whatever.
You do want to sit it down and be like, this building you're destroying, is it in the room with us right now? What is happening, woman? Like, can you explain this to me, please?
Can you describe what the building looks like?
They're like, they're on set. They're like, you're not destroying anything here. We need, this is all built. What are you saying?
It's, yeah. Okay. Let's get to the end of this nonsense.
We have the power to represent what the world looks like today.
Well, doesn't every movie have the power to do that? It's like,
yeah,
but the world that looks like it does today looked like today 20 years ago and 30 years ago, and 40 years ago, and
plus
50 years
like
ago.
when I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I wasn't thinking, wow, this really represents the world that I live in today.
I just like that the clip they show after saying that is like green screen and people and Wakanda rocks, aliens. It's just like, yes, this looks a lot like every day when you go outside, I guess.
Seeing these behind the scenes little
Yeah.
featurettes of like the green screens everywhere, they are so like soul destroying when you realize like what these films are. I mean, we kind of knew it anyway, like the amount of CGI that's in them, but when you actually see the environment that they work in for these things, it's like it must just be the most bland, uninspiring like hellhole to be stuck in as an actor. It's like,
Okay.
what kind of green screen set are we going to be in today? Who knows? We might get a couple of rocks and maybe a tree in the background.
But if this is meant to reflect the world that we have today, can you give me an example of a country which is perceived as good and virtuous and progressive technology-wise that is also an ethno-state?
Wales.
Because I know
You
one
just have
that
like a shield
one
around
that
Wales,
exists-
like
yeah,
no one can get in.
I know one that exists in their world. Just saying.
Right.
We can take these characters' motivations and bring it into our own lives, and it empowers us.
I wouldn't take Wanda's motivation and bring that into my life if I were you.
No.
They'll never understand what you lost.
This
What?
is the scary. Most of these people are not good people. Like
No.
you shouldn't really be emulating them. I'm going to take Thanos' motivation into my own life. I'm going to kill half the people I meet.
You know, like watching some of the episode, it's clearly the audience that they want is little girls to be watching this. And I'm just like, okay, what is your objective here? Like, is it to build your next generation audience with this kind of stuff? Like, it's going to lose money now, objectively be bad, but later on it's going to pay dividends. Because it reminded me of like when the Peter Pan trailer came out last week. Like, Hook is an objectively bad movie to a lot of people. They could argue that point, but I'm nostalgic for it and love it. And I'm like, is this their long-term plan?
Well, I think there's probably something to that where it's like if you get a generation of people who have never known anything but this garbage that we see before us, like that's their standard of measure. They won't remember the films of previous decades because they'll never really have seen them. They'll have been indoctrinated into this, and that's terrifying to think of.
Yeah.
Like maybe they'll be sitting here one day like 30, 40 years from now going like, oh, you know, I remember when we had the joys of Marvel Phase 5, you know, like that was classic movie making back then. Like now films are shit, you know.
And that's what's so interesting about the Captain Marvel message that they're pushing. It's like, if it's supposed to be empowering, and it's like, okay, go earn, go earn something, go make something of yourself, but all at the same time, society's pushing on this generation that victimhood's the way to go. It's so conflicting. Maybe that's why everything's just shit, and no one's going to see these anymore.
But if this is their target audience, I'm afraid that this is a minuscule audience.
Right.
This is not an audience that's going to be able to sustain your franchise.
Right. And that's what I mean by like the long-term thing. Like it's going to pay dividends 20, 30 years from now, like with the nostalgia factor when they remake Captain Marvel.
I think in 30 years' time, a lot of this is going to be forgotten.
That's true.
I mean, we really hope
so.
Because I mean, Kevin Feige's talking there about like, well, I see that there's like 80 years of comic book stories there that we could do. I just thought, oh my god, this horrifying reality that 80 years from now there could be still Marvel movies getting made. Please no.
And that's to say that every story in comic books is on an even keel of quality, because I've read comic books my entire life, and a lot of them are absolutely horrible, and I'd never want them adapted into anything.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay.
MPower, a 4-part series now streaming only on Disney Plus.
You heard it here, folks. Get yourselves over to Disney Plus and stream that shit right now. Good lord.
Why isn't it called Woman Power? What's going on?
They could have done something more with that. Shouldn't it be like W Power or something?
What Power?
When's the male version coming out?
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe next week.
I was just thinking that, because is it not November that like International Men's Day is? I can't wait to see what they've got for us in store then. You know, a celebration of the men of the MCU. Well,
they'll just be like, "Look, Tony Stark's back," and they just shoot him in the back of the head. Like, all right,
someone's back to apologize to everyone.
It would just show like guys like Hank Pym like shoving his arms into those wobbly jelly like control things for the spaceship, and you know, Loki getting kicked in the balls and stuff.
It'll just be him apologizing to Michelle Pfeiffer and saying it's okay that she was cucking him.
Yeah. I'm sorry I put you in that position where you had to fuck another guy in the first place. It's my fault.
She did Bill Murray. Totally did Kang. There was more than one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen Jonathan Majors in fucking Creed 3. That dude's built, so I don't blame her.
Built.
You know?
Is he real? He couldn't even beat the Wasp. Come on.
I mean, if I put him into a ring against Evangeline Lilly, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't end well.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the glory that was.
It's insufferable.
MPower.
Just absolutely insufferable bullshit.
I mean,
you know what the
I can
MCU
imagine...
was built on? The MCU was built on Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor. That's what it was built on.
Yeah, as that's wrong think, and a Marvel MCU squad is on its way to your house as we speak to correct you, sir.
I think that they're done with wrong. That thinking at all is kind of becoming a like, don't you dare.
Yeah,
a little handy pamphlet to follow instead.
But yeah, that was MPower. So I hope we all feel suitably empowered by that.
Yeah,
I know I did. I'm pumped. I can't wait to go see it. Yeah, at some point, years from now.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, don't call me. I'll call you.
Yeah, I'll call you.
Now, there's other stuff that's been going on, and
other stuff
indeed. It seems to have provoked a bit of a storm of outrage and stupidity on Twitter. As far as I can remember from this, Angry Joe's been getting extremely angry at Eric July, and Eric July's gotten extremely angry at him in return, and everyone's kind of temporarily lost their minds over this. But
yeah,
I just think it's kind of funny, and I'll present it to you, gentlemen, for your consideration now. What's the easiest way to do this? All right, give me 1 second. Okay, so From back in the day, all of us are of a certain age. We probably watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, particularly the animated cartoon back in the 90s, I think it was. And I loved it. I thought it was really good. And you'll probably remember April O'Neil from that. If you do, you probably remember her looking something like this. There we go. Let's see if we can bring her up. Yeah. That's April O'Neil.
That's that 12-year-old, according to Angry Joe.
I mean, she doesn't look
12. 12-year-old
there,
April O'Neil, who's a reporter at the age of 12.
A reporter at the age of 12.
I mean, she doesn't seem built like a 12-year-old. I mean,
an MCU
no
character.
expert. Jesus.
Well, look, Doogie
But
How's a reporter.
But anyway, that was her from the original show. But she's been new and improved because we have a new trailer coming out for a Seth Rogen produced movie, which is always a mark of quality. Whenever Seth Rogen's involved in something, you know it's going to be good. So let's see if we can see the new version, the new and improved version of April O'Neil. All right.
The suspense.
Yeah. Will it come up? Oh no. I'm going to have to keep you waiting for a few seconds longer because it took a moment to load.
Suspenders is killing me.
I know.
Anything could happen.
It could. But the thing is, will it? That's the question. There we go. Okay. Now, we have the new and improved April. Now, what you're seeing right there, gentlemen, is what we like to call bait in this industry. This is nothing but fan baiting right there. This was a very deliberate choice to make her look like that because they knew the reaction that they would get. And, to be fair to them, they got it.
It is funny that the first thing it reminds me of is Velma. I'm like, oh.
Yes.
It's uncanny, isn't it? I was like... But the thing is, you know, this is going to serve an obvious purpose because it's the same thinking that went into anything, like whether it was recasting Ariel from The Little Mermaid with a black actress or whether it was something like Velma. It's like to try and make your product critic-proof because the moment anyone raises a question about this, the moment anyone objects to it, well, you can just label them with the big old racist label and that's it. Like, job done, the discussion's over. And it's just so transparent at this point, I guess. I just don't know.
Wish that was fucking transparent.
I mean, but yeah, like, you look at this and you think, like, okay, you've got a bunch of fans of the original show or the movies or any version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, who's going to watch that and then react well to this? Who's going to think, cool, this is definitely the version I want to see?
This is coming out at the theaters. This isn't even a TV show on a streaming channel that barely anyone's going to watch. This is coming out at the cinema.
Yep. I smell a bomb in the
Good
making.
Good luck, you know?
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this just doesn't seem
Rage
like a winning
bait.
strategy.
It's
it's fan
marketing ploy. That's the new marketing ploy that's been adopted for the last few years. It's meant to get people riled up, and if it's riled up, they think it's in the public vernacular, it's in the public sphere, so they're like, yay, everyone's talking about our dog shit. Oh, why didn't anyone go see it? They were all talking about it.
Publicity.
Our social media numbers. You know, that is a lie, though. All publicity is good publicity is maybe 60 years ago when there wasn't social media and the internet and people exposing exactly who they really are to the whole world. Nowadays, no, it's certainly not true.
Well, I think when you generate that general feeling of animosity towards a movie, like hostility, it becomes almost impossible to shake because the same thing happened with Rings of Power. You know, that from their marketing, the way they decided to promote it, the ridiculous like promo reels they had with the super fans, all that stuff fed into this this fan dislike of their show before it even came out, and that dislike morphed into resentment and outright hatred. And by the time the thing came out, people were just primed and ready to hate on this show. And that's exactly what they're doing here. That's the same way it's going to go. Because you've got guys like Seth Rogen behind it, and he's going to like react the way he usually does with stuff like this, and he'll probably lash out at people on social media.
Yeah, he lashed out recently because he said his feelings were getting hurt, that critics were poo-pooing some of his projects.
Joe Russo agreed with him.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
What was his thing that like he was upset that people were criticizing his work?
He said it. Critics should know that it hurts his feelings.
Well,
Negative.
that's just encouraging me to do it more.
Yeah.
They have this whole thing about how, like, if only they knew the process, maybe they wouldn't be such assholes about it, and they'd blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, it's probably good we have people who are so disconnected so they can say things that most people wouldn't, who are involved, who are direct. It's a lot of the time, if you guys are familiar, it's like sometimes you don't want a friend to be critical of your work. You want someone who's disconnected because the friend might not be willing to tell you something that can be harsh. In the same way, when you have a bunch of disconnected people on the internet being like, you know, that new whatever movie by whoever is pretty shit, and then that person's like, wow, that's offensive. It's like, well, it shouldn't be offensive. It's just some random person on the internet. You should be okay, I think.
The thing is, it would be different as well as, like, you know, say we almost never managed to make a great movie, like no one had, and it's like, well, okay, it'd be harder to criticize someone for falling short of that impossible standard, but it's like we've had decades upon decades of great movies coming out of Hollywood, and out of the UK, out of wherever. Like, it can be done. It has been done so many times, and so that doesn't stand as an excuse to say, well, making movies is hard, therefore you can't criticize me if I didn't do a good job. It's like, no, other people have managed to do a good job. What's your fucking excuse?
Pretty much.
You know, and it's like, okay, I'll hurt your feelings. Oh well, never mind.
Also, like, the inherent gatekeeping too of, like, they don't know what they're talking about. I have decided this, and you're like, okay, that's handy for you.
Oh, hey, we got Chris Gore on. Hey, man.
Hey, gents. Hey, drinker. What's going on?
We are.
Hello.
Cynic. Good. Cool. What's up? Sorry, I'm late.
Hold on.
You were jerking it to April O'Neil.
Yeah, we were just discussing. We were discussing how amazing she looks in this new trailer.
Or as I saw in the chat, April O'Meal.
We got it.
Fuck, you got me. That's great. How about that Marvel drop?
Oh,
MPower? How about that?
Oh, we just looked at that there. Yeah, we're very pumped to watch all 4 episodes of that. We think it looks great. What about you? Were you deeply moved?
Well, first of all, I told Gary Nerdrotic, I said, it looks like a video you would cut. All you have to do is just add your VO. Like they did a video for your channel. It's just free. Seriously, it just looks like one of Gary's videos where he's kind of cherry picking like examples. It's like, no, they just made a show out of it. So I thought it was pretty awful. And we had a conversation yesterday just about like how you take two amazing brands with decades of fans, Star Wars and Marvel, and bring it to Disney, which is, I've just come to the conclusion, it's a brand for women. Disney is going out. It seriously is. It's a brand for women. You take those Star Wars, Marvel, and you think about it, and you try to make it to appeal to women. It's failing. I think that says something. You know, it would be like taking Barbie and like, how do we make Barbie appeal to boys? What do we do?
It's crazy when you take intrinsically male franchises. And didn't Disney buy Star Wars because they wanted a male franchise to appeal to the male demographic as well, and then market it to women and girls who aren't interested in any of this shit?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, there are female fans of this stuff, but I think the thing that I think attracts a lot of women to these franchises is there's strong men. You know, I mean, look, the first Avengers movie may as well have been a Chippendales show, you know, because it's a trope that like all the male characters, all the male Marvel characters take their shirts off. All of them. They have to do it at some point. I did a video on my channel about it where we just cut all the scenes of shirtless male Marvel characters. It just happens every movie. It's like a checkbox thing that has to happen. And I think that appeals to women. I think women like strong men and men like strong male role models. So by stepping away from that, you're going to get the Marvels, which will be this is not a controversial take. It's going to be the worst box office for any Marvel movie ever.
I mean, I predict. I can't really see what the selling point is because none of the three actresses are box office draws particularly. Like you say, presumably there's not going to be any strong male characters in it because that's not going to be allowed. And I don't really know what the draw is apart from just the generic like, well, it's empowering for women to see strong women on screen. Like, I just don't think that's going to be enough to sell this one. And like you say, you know, I don't think this whole genre of movie making, I don't think it's inherently male. Like, I think women can absolutely appreciate it, but I think the key was just always balance in previous phases. You know, in phases 1, 2, even 3, you can have, you know, strong, empowered female characters if you want to like market to your female audience. You can also have strong male characters who are just as capable and just as good at what they do. One doesn't have to take away from the other. That was what made it work. Now the mentality seems to be very much, well, if we're going to elevate our female characters, we have to denigrate our male ones. They have to be brought down. And I don't understand why they feel like they have to do that, but man,
because they're incapable of raising the women up. That's the problem.
Well, I think it's partly that, like maybe like the writing standards are not great, and perhaps they know that they're not great at writing characters, the people they've brought in now, and partly I think there's just this almost petty desire to like knock them down a peg or two. You know, well, yeah, you've had your day at the box office, men. It's time for you to know your place a little bit, and that's, again, it's not going to do any favors to anyone because you're alienating your own audience. Like, bit by bit, you're just going to piss them off, and more of them will just not come back. They'll just be like, fuck it, I'll just find my entertainment somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, two quick things. One, my colleague Alan Ing at Film Threat was at D23 and saw the trailer, a teaser trailer and scene from the Marvels.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, that's juicy.
Exciting.
He's a big Disney fan, and he loves Marvel, like the comics and even some of the recent comics. And he said it's not for us, and he said it looks like a Disney Plus show. And the scene that they showed was just cringe. So he saw about 2 minutes of it, and he said it did not get a good reaction at D23, and no one was talking about it. And then he sent me a photo. Brie Larson was doing a live appearance on the floor at D23.
Oh yeah.
And I think some people picked up that because I shared it with like Ryan Cannell and some others, and there were like maybe 30 people in a space that would have fit several hundred. It was the most embarrassing.
Wow.
At a booth, like Brie Larson's coming or making announcements on the speaker at the convention center, and nobody showed up. Another thing, a trailer no one is talking about that ties into everything we're discussing, because this is the Critical Drinker National Women's Month special. That's the theme. That's the theme today. Did you see a trailer for a movie called Ghosted?
Oh,
did you see it yet? It's on Apple TV Plus, so no one will ever see it. But it stars Chris Evans and Ana de Armas in what begins as like, it looks like it's just some cheesy romantic comedy. Turns out that she is a CIA operative that is action star, you know, killing it. And then Chris Evans is sort of this screaming twit. So very entertaining.
It sounds like it, yeah.
But no, it's I was just like, this is Captain America now. It was pathetic. It was so
as he says in the trailers, the guy was like, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm the boyfriend."
thing is, I can imagine Chris Evans is perfectly willing to humiliate himself like that. He seems like that kind of guy. Bit like Chris Pine in the Dungeons and Dragons movie, where they straight up said that like we're out to emasculate the male leads in this one. And we actually burned through several actors who just weren't willing to do it because they thought it was dumb. And like we found Chris Pine and he was happy to do it. And I just thought, well, good on you, Chris. Well done. Yeah.
I saw a clip from that film. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's like they're in like a graveyard and they've got to talk to a skeleton or whatever. And I was actually like, that was kind of funny. I thought it was fine. Do you see it? Or am I the only one here?
I haven't seen it, but I was looking forward to it until the I just thought it looked like a dumb action movie. My expectations are very low. Will it be fun for 2 hours? Maybe. But after everything that's come out in the press, it just now it's like because you can't not notice it now. You can't
just watch Mythica, dude. Just go watch Mythica instead.
This is the thing. Like they said the quiet part out loud. Like this is what we knew about a lot of movie making up until now anyway. But like they never straight up admitted it. They would say like, well, it's about challenging the male leads, or it's about like, you know, elevating other characters or whatever, telling more complex stories. But to just straight up say, yeah, we wanted them to be weak and useless so we can make everyone else look better. It's like you're not supposed to admit that. That's not how you know, how do you think that's going to play for your male audience? Do you think men are going to think, oh, cool, I can't wait to see, you know, guys get humiliated on screen. That's really going to inspire me. Sign me up. Like, no, of course not. Like, it's such a dumb strategy. But yeah, Chris, when you mentioned, like, they did a panel there for the Marvels, like, and, you know, they had Brie Larson going about. It kind of feels like she's almost like Marvel's dirty little secret, like that they've tried to keep her under wraps for the past few years, but they know, like they've got to that point where like, okay, this is the year that the Marvels is coming out, and so we have no choice but to wheel her out now and try and like make people like her, and this is kind of what's going to happen. Like they've ducked it as long as possible, and now here we are.
You say that they pushed it back again, obviously, to November. This movie, and I swear to God, it'll be the funniest news ever if they're like November, yes, of 2024.
Think how many times this must have been reshot, like again and again. Like, oh no, it's still not working. Like, nope, this looks awful. Like even
they want to
Disney Marvel
go back
standards.
on it, but they can't.
I want to know what the legitimate budget of this movie is probably at right now.
I had some interesting conversations, and I don't know if Gary shared this with you. I won't name names, but like people who are very close to this stuff mentioned to me that the reported budget that you get, particularly for superhero films, is usually at least $50 million less than what they actually spent. So if you get something like the Marvels, I assume that's got to be at least a $200 million budget that they're going to report on. It's probably more like $250 million, if not closer to 3 with all the reshoots.
Yeah.
Now consider how much money that's going to have to make to try and just to break even. That is a Mount Everest of challenges right there.
I mean, it should cost a lot less because it's all women, right? Don't they get paid less? So there. Yeah.
I mean, not like I say, none of them are big stars. Like Brie Larson's probably your best bet there, but like the other two, like yeah, they get paid like a million each probably and feel happy with that. But all the money is going to go in special effects, like everything with Marvel now. So you can't duck that kind of cost. That's just there, regardless.
Yeah, I just think that Brie Larson is incredibly unlikable. Unlikable, but in real life and as a character, because you imagine that role, if some other actress had taken that role on, there's a bunch of different ones that you could, replace, make nearly the same movie, and it could have worked. It had the potential to work, right? Think of maybe a Katie Sackhoff or something. I know we've talked, or maybe you guys talked about it on FNT. I talked about it with Gary. There was like Ronda Rousey, the MMA fighters. People were doing like sort of fan casting of her in the costume, and she looked badass. I mean, it is questionable though with some people crossing over from sports into acting. But Ronda Rousey had at least the physique that seemed to work. But Brie Larson with those big feet almost looks like she has a Ms. Marvel type of superpower. You know, Ms. Marvel can Ms. Marvel make her feet large as well? Or is it just
should have been Katie Sackhoff.
Yes, I thought Katie Sackhoff would have been she's just more likable.
She's likable, she looks great, she's in superb physical condition. I saw her video when she trained to do the Trojan tournaments and stuff.
She's busy in Mandalorian doing Mandalorian things, okay?
Oh, we'll get to that.
Doing a lot of sitting. She's sitting on a throne a lot.
But yeah, I mean, like I guess they wanted a bigger name for something like that, and she was kind of Star was on the rise at the time. Like, I know she seemed to like, based on the sort of clip that she was in from Ms. Marvel, like the little cameos she had, it's like she's about half the size she was in Captain Marvel. So I don't know what's happened to her, but like if that's the way she's gonna look in her costume now, like
veganism.
I don't know what. Well, I don't know. Like maybe she's on some crazy diet or something. But like, yeah, she just lost a ton of weight that she didn't really need to. But I have no idea what she's like in real life, and it would be a really sad thing if you ever met her and she was like super nice and charming and likable, like in the flesh, and you just think, oh shit, like spent all this time making fun of you. Like maybe it's just she comes across really badly in interviews or something. I guess you never quite know, but like I guess I lean towards she's probably just like that. You know, if you're doing unscripted interviews, that's probably the real you coming out.
And even if you got a more, I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, go right ahead, Cynic. Sorry about that.
I was just gonna say, like, even if you replaced her with a more likable actress, I think it would kind of be like for me with Henry Cavill as Superman. I didn't like any of the movies he was in, but I liked him as the role, and that's the best you'd get, because the two iterations of Captain Marvel that exist was like pre-2012 and post, and that was Miss Marvel, and then she became Captain Marvel, and she is just an inherently unlikable character in the comic books too, and like that's what they're into right now. That's what they're adapting, the all new, all different Marvel that took place, you know, like from I think it was like 2012 up to 2017. That's what they're adapting, and that was a terrible run of comic books and unlikable characters, and that's where Captain Marvel spawned from. So it's just never going to be good to adapt anyway.
Maybe worth mentioning, Katie Sackhoff would not be able to save Captain Marvel the movie.
No, I think then at least we would just be saying, well, you know, she did her best.
She might not have. That's the problem. I might be the only person here who's willing to say it, but Brie Larson can act. There's movies I've seen of her where she acts. It's possible. It's just that apparently nobody asked her to do fuck all in the directorial position. Like, it sucks. Marvel movies really don't push actors to do fuck all. It's unbelievable they've had Michael Douglas for 3 movies. He's an actual actor. He does acting. Let him act.
Well, him and Michelle Pfeiffer are both really good actors.
They're there for the fact that they've forgotten why these people are special, like in any way, shape, or form. It's like, why do you think they have a name? It's like, have you seen their movies? Do you even know that they act?
Dude, I think one of the saddest moments was like that moment in Ant-Man 3 when Michael Douglas is having to sit in the cockpit of some like CGI starfighter thing with his hands like in like fake CGI goop that's meant to control the thing, and he's obviously just waving his arms around on the set and having no clue what he's supposed to be doing. And I just thought, damn, this is Michael Douglas. Like,
I'm sure he was thinking the same thing. I'm Michael fucking Douglas. What am I doing?
Yeah, it can't be worth the paycheck. It just can't.
You mean the prolapse control system for that starship? Don't Google the word prolapse, by the way.
No. But it's just I can. It's like seeing Raul Julia doing that Street Fighter movie. You know, it's just like a good actor in a ridiculously shit role and just you know doing their best.
I love Street Fighter,
but there's loads of memes you can get out of that. Like,
well, that at least is entertaining. You know.
Yeah, like there's no fun with a lot of the because I say this as if they're wasting people like Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer. It's like, well, they're wasting everyone. There's no actor that really gets to shine in these. Yeah,
Evangeline Lilly, they're both likable actors. You know, they're good. You know, but
that's what I mean. The directors don't seem to put pressure on the actors, and the producers don't seem to put pressure on the directors. So there's nothing's happening that's like worthwhile.
It's just I guess it's just the assembly line. You know, like we'll fix it in post. Probably like
Yeah,
get an
they
AI
probably
to like deep fake your face to the expression we want.
And I'm sure when they film a scene, they're just like, "Is that good enough?" And you're like, probably."
It's like if it's really shit, we'll just like do a CGI mask on your face. Like we'll pretend that you masked up for this one. It'd be fine.
I remember Robert Downey Jr. on Joe Rogan said that like to the extreme of that is they were filming a scene and he liked the take and they were going to move on, but he was like, I hated where my arm was in that position, and they're like, we'll just fix it in post, we're moving on. And it is that level of just like get it done, production line, go.
Yep. I can only imagine the atmosphere on the TV shows where it's even more like you're up against it time-wise, you don't have the resources, and it's just like, get this thing in the can because we've got 5 other shows we need to get made right now. Wow, yeah. It must just be the opposite of creativity. Like, yeah, we're literally all just here to shove more content out for people.
True. I will say I did see Iman Vellani, who plays Ms. Marvel, at a couple of events in Hollywood just because it's award season, and shockingly I get invited to things. She looks vastly different than how she's portrayed in the show. She is stunning and gorgeous and statuesque. I was shocked because they make her look so frumpy on the show, like a frumpy kid, and that is not what she looks like in real life at all. So I don't know if she looks different because she's doing that movie or she did the show a while back or years ago, but she looks very different in real life. But I'm terrible at stuff like that where I'll be at something like this and meet someone and realize, oh, you're on that show or something. But yeah, she's very different. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's, I guess,
Random
good acting in that case, I think Az and I, we only watched like the first couple of episodes of Ms. Marvel, and it was like, yeah, and it's like, well, okay, she seems perfectly likable and nice in the show. Never really had an issue with the actress. It's more just like the show was just boring as fuck.
Yeah, we literally recorded our whole reaction and barely get anything from it because we were just sat there for periods of time like nothing, just nothing. Just like, are you bored? Like, yeah. It's just like, isn't nothing's happening? Yeah.
Never saw.
And then after that, we're just like, yeah, we'll come back for episode 2. I didn't contact Drinker. Drinker didn't contact me. We just left it.
Let's just let that one lie.
Yeah, it's like if he doesn't, I'll just like if he don't contact me, I won't contact him.
That's the thing. Like, if we'd had a laugh just because it was so like Batwoman level shittiness, like, okay, fine, we could do something with that. But when it's just in the middle, like, I can't even. It's not great and it's not terrible. It's just meh. There's just nothing you can really do with it. I think it was that kind of show. So yeah, we just left it.
Yeah, I never finished Ms. Marvel, but I always find sometimes with shows like that, it's more fun to watch someone like Az watch the show. Like MILF Island or whatever.
MILF, yeah,
MILF
Island.
God. MILF Manor, dude, you're taking 10 for the team on that one. Jesus.
Not off as much as the women are on that island.
Holy shit! Did anyone happen to catch the Jennifer Lawrence trailer for No Hard Feelings?
Oh, jeez,
it's just come out today, hasn't it?
I didn't think it looked like a raunchy comedy from like 20 years ago. I don't think it looks. I mean, it does look terrible, but like it could be terrible in a fun way. She's I don't know. I'm just surprised. My thing on that is, how did this movie get made now? Because it looks very politically incorrect. Did anyone happen to catch it?
I watched like 20 seconds of it. And I was really surprised too that Jennifer Lawrence was doing a movie like that, what I saw. Because right off the bat, like someone's just running over and like grabbing her boobs. It's like totally fine with Jennifer Lawrence of all people.
Yeah, I think it happens a couple times in there. I'm just again surprised. Her last movie was Causeway, a thing that was effectively Oscar bait. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who saw it.
I was gonna say, like, what the fuck has Jennifer Lawrence even done in the past like 5 years?
Don't look up.
I mean,
Mother
was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah. Don't Look Up was the only one, and that was a bit of a fucking disaster, wasn't it? Everyone just memed on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in terms of headlining A-list movies, like she's not done anything for quite some time, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like giving her a pause for thought. I guess maybe she's doing something like this as a reaction to that. I don't know. Maybe this is just a turnaround in terms of movie making. Maybe there's a bit of a swing going on now, and these movies are starting to filter through now.
Well, there definitely is. I mean, I've been speaking to people at various levels in the industry, and they describe it as there's about to be an almost French Revolution type of shakeout of people that are just not ready to, a lot of people not ready to be in the positions that they're in. I'm hearing it in a lot of places. So, a buddy of mine who's a screenwriter in the WGA was at the meeting that they were talking about the strike, and he just couldn't believe like some of the members' complaints. These are just green writers that are not ready to work professionally, that don't even understand how the industry works, that effectively the entertainment industry, for the most part, if you're a creative, you're a freelancer. You've got to hustle, you got to spend as much time hustling to get the work as doing the work. And one of the writers was complaining that he had to pitch, that we should get paid for pitches. This is a story and it's almost like actors being paid to audition, right? Like,
yeah,
you're basically giving a take to see if you'll fit in with, if it's the writer's room, or, you're going to write a screenplay or whatnot. Like, you've got to give your take. And he was just like hand on his face, like listening to these newer crop of people that are part of the organization not know what the fuck they're doing. And I don't want to get more specific than that, but it's pretty incredible. A buddy of mine, Jeff Katz, has a film coming out in April. I think I might have connected him with you, Drinker.
You did indeed, yeah.
Yeah,
there's things going on there, so hopefully I'll have more to report soon.
Yeah, I mean, he made this movie with Sony starring Russell Crowe that's going to be coming out. He swears. I mean, we had this whole long email thread just talking about how effed up the industry is. And just to give some context, who he is as a producer, he's someone that I hang out with mostly at San Diego Comic-Con every year. And he did the movie Snakes on a Plane. So that's kind of like the thing he's probably most noted for. He's just, there's so many people that feel the way Jeff does, that are just tired of this, to the point where people are openly mocking it. I really think you could almost go by a company basis. You look at a company like Disney, almost all the product they put out, whether it's Star Wars, Marvel, whatever, all kind of has that gentrified Disney feel. And then a company like Sony, for the most part, Sony or a Lionsgate, have avoided that. I think they really stick to like, well, what do audiences really want? On that note, by the way, I saw John Wick 4 last week, and I'm happy to report that it is absolutely phenomenal. John Wick 4, in fact, you could just watch John Wick 1 and then just watch John Wick 4. It's 3 hours of relentless action, and it's as if the filmmakers sort of took the notes of why the flaws people saw in 2 and 3, the things they didn't like, the fact that it just went down the rabbit hole of lore to a point where it just like, we don't need this movie to be this complicated. Just stick to the action sequences. And it is just balls to the walls, nearly 3 hours of the best action sequences that have ever been in a John Wick film. I just think it doesn't have the emotional resonance of the first John Wick, but it's definitely, if not second best or tied with one, as just an amazing film. And if you just look at, one of the things I do is I book tickets at my local theater. I look at, well, what are people buying tickets for? John Wick tickets went on sale last week. Theater is already packed with barely like single seats here and there. Shazam can't sell shit.
This shocks me.
No one is excited for Shazam.
No one at all. But John Wick is going to be a surprise hit. I think it's going to do incredibly well. And Lionsgate, by the way, put out some other films you may have seen earlier this year. Plane, which I thought was very good, with Gerard Butler. Just a straight up like 80s action movie. It had that feel. So I'm looking forward to John Wick 4, and also looking forward to like what you all think about it, because it's like refreshing, and it's my favorite movie that I've seen this year. I mean, there's going to be a lot more movies coming out, but best thing I've seen this year is John Wick 4. Cannot wait for you all to experience it.
I think it's the only film that I'm actually genuinely looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I don't want to give away some of the action sequences, but holy shit, they're just like they topped everything they've done in previous John Wick movies, which is shocking.
Do you think you'll do better than Ant-Man's 870,000 that it did on Wednesday in 3,825 theaters?
That is embarrassing.
I think it's. I don't know what it'll do long term. I maybe number one the weekend it opens
with an average of $228 a theater.
What is the grand total sitting at for Ant-Man? Just out of curiosity.
The worldwide is 422.
And is that up to date?
Domestic is 190.
Wow. See, the break even has got to be around 700 or 800 million for this one. It's not getting anywhere near that.
Wow.
That's crushing.
I don't even think it's going to hit 450. I just cannot see it hitting even 450.
I mean, what has it been out, like 3 weeks now?
Just less. Tomorrow is going to be 3 weeks officially.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not gonna. Yeah, it's obviously not gonna make a huge amount more over the next couple of weeks before it gets shunted right out. So that's got to be a certified flop at this point. If it doesn't even make back its budget.
When I say tomorrow, I mean for Thursday's box office being released. We'll make it.
Yeah.
Will it have done worse than previous Ant-Man films?
I think I'll
think
check
worldwide.
The first one was like over 500, wasn't it? And against a much smaller budget as well. The first one was relatively cheap for a Marvel movie.
Oh my god, shitting hell. Okay, Ant-Man worldwide was 518 million. It's not going to get there. Ant-Man and the Wasp was 623 million worldwide.
Yep.
Whoa.
This is going to be by the way, this is the most important movie since Endgame. I don't know if you're aware of this.
To be fair, Ant-Man and the Wasp did cheat. Ant-Man's the interesting one to compare to because Ant-Man and the Wasp between Endgame and Infinity War, right? With Captain Marvel. So that's like completely skewed in terms of what we would expect these films to be able to make on their own. I'm actually trying to be slightly fair to Quantum Mania that it probably should be compared to Ant-Man instead of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
But this is the most important movie since Endgame.
Is it?
Kevin Feige said so.
Until the next most important movie comes out.
Well, that's the next movie, Drinker.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of Phase 5, damn it.
Yeah. But no, Chris, it's good to know that, like, well, maybe the John Wick series is course correcting, because I think we'd all agree, like, John Wick 3 was just over the top ridiculous with all the lore and all the crazy, like, world building they tried to do with it.
Yeah, well, I will say this movie does have a post-credit scene, and I believe I can't talk about it with you now, but I believe it may have a controversial ending. So,
didn't they film 4 and 5 back to back?
I don't know that. I don't know.
As far as I know, that's true. Yeah. You know, the action, can it be taken seriously or is it more goofy?
I would say it's less goofy than 2 and 3. So it's like I say, you could watch 1 and then 4 and skip 2 and 3. You literally could, and it ties into the first one in a good way. So I just enjoy. They just focused on the action, and I think that was wise. I mean, there are just some set pieces that are just so spectacular that I can't wait to see it again. I mean, I already have tickets to see it again. Quick side note: I saw Scream 6, and only want to bring it up because it's a Scream movie. You know what you're going to get, right? Okay, so is it good for a Scream movie? It's okay. It's better than Scream 5, which I didn't like at all. I thought it was weak. This is better in the sense that just the kills are better. It's more complex. The deaths are good, but there's a sequence in it worth noting where there's a rant. You know how like there's this sort of self-reflexive thing where you're aware that the people behind the scenes doing the murders are also big movie fans. This focuses on, we're not a sequel, we're not a requel, we're not a reboot. We are in a franchise. And then they go through the rules of a franchise. And it's a hilarious speech. And they even mention Luke Skywalker in the speech. It's right in the middle of the movie. And I actually found it kind of entertaining, just sort of ripping on franchises and when they go off the rails. And it's just acknowledging that we know that we're a franchise now and we're off the rails and we're just calling it out in the middle of the movie.
I suppose that was the only realistic place they could go with this now in terms of meta commentary, because it's like we've had the original, which was riffing on horror movies. We've had the sequel, which talks about sequels. Then we've had like the reboot and like the reaction to like toxic online fans. Okay, this is like all that's left. I mean,
well, I was going to say though, like you say, it's a Scream movie, you know what you get, and it's like, to my knowledge, wasn't 1 and 2 like far better than 3, 4, 5?
Absolutely.
Yes.
4 I liked. I quite liked 4.
Isn't that who Majiggy's daughter in that one? She was the murderer in it. She couldn't act for shit.
I can't remember.
She's Julia Roberts' niece or something.
Oh, Emma Roberts?
Couldn't act for
she was the killer.
shit. The end bit was like so embarrassing in the hospital. Oh man, I was cringing my ass off, man. I didn't even see Scream 5.
You can skip it. Not great.
Well, they kill off a long-standing character in it, which I didn't like, but
I think I know who as well.
Are we not allowed to spoil or something? Isn't it old?
I don't want to ruin it for us, just in case he watches it. But
no, I think you
don't want to ruin it when it's a film you're not recommending.
Well,
are you recommending?
I'm 99% sure I know who it's Dewey. Kill off Dewey.
Yeah. It's really,
and then this one they're probably going to kill off Courtney Cox.
I hope so, because she's gotten quite annoying.
Well, they keep like, going after her. They never fucking kill them.
I know.
Wasn't Buffy in the first one?
Yes,
she was in
with
the
Sarah
second
Michelle.
one.
She got thrown out a window.
Oh,
yes, was it second? Yeah, thrown out a window, wasn't she?
How did that make you feel, MauLer?
It's funny watching her in that, and I Know You Did Last Summer. I think she's in as well, right? She gets killed in both of them, and it's just like, man, it's weird seeing you without your powers and just being the damsel in distress. When that's what Buffy's the opposite of. Whoa!
Is it Rose McGowan's in the first one, isn't she?
And she gets killed by the most. I couldn't ever suspend my disbelief even when I was a kid, because she gets killed in the garage door. And most powerful garage door I've ever seen.
Dude, the fucking Scary Movie parody of that shit was hilarious. He was the guy was like, Ghostface was like confused. He was like, "What's happening?" Like,
the garage door worked. That was the biggest suspension of disbelief.
We honestly need to cover the Scary Movies, because
yes,
they are genuinely good comedies.
Yeah, first two, I love the first two. Yeah, first two are great.
I actually like 1 and 3 the most.
Which one is the one that covers Signs? Is that 3?
That's 3.
There's
so many.
It's got
good
some killer lines there. Yeah, well, dude, he's run over the guy's wife, and he's just like, "I'm gonna need a ride home."
it's the first one with Leslie Nielsen is the third one, and he's fucking great at it. He's great in everything, so.
All right,
anyways,
we're not so different after all. He pees through his finger.
Speaking of things which are not so great, we had Mandalorian episode 2. Yeah, and wow, okay, that's the thing that happened. So I've concluded from that Mando is not very good at doing stuff. And he just kind of gets like caught and captured, and spends the entire episode just caught in a big snare net thing, waiting for Bo-Katan to save him.
Either he's unstoppable because of that armor of his, or he gets grabbed by a robot and injected with something. He's like, "Oh wow, I've been defeated." Yeah, there you go. Now Bo-Katan can save me.
I don't get, because we were discussing this briefly before we started the show, like. Ultimately, what the writers wanted was to get Mando and Bo-Katan together on Mandalore to go on their quest into the living waters. Why couldn't they have just had it like he went to her for help and she said, "Sure, I'll guide you there," and then they did and they went there? But it's like she has to say, "No, Then he goes there by himself. Then he gets captured. Then he has to send Baby Yoda back to get her, and then she has to come and save him. Like you've just made so much more work for yourselves, and for what? It just adds to the screen time. It's just like we've got enough story to fill up one episode, but we somehow have to spin that out into an entire season. It's so bizarre.
It's funny when he like commands the baby to go get her. All of us on Eva were like, "What? Like, how is baby gonna get it? What?
How is Baby Yoda gonna communicate his situation to her?"
Dude, my favorite thing was when the droid obviously didn't know what Baby Yoda wants, and Baby Yoda just points randomly at the radar screen, and the droid's like, "Gotcha!" And we're going to look at that. I know exactly what you mean.
I hate that little shit.
And the droid just ditches its master, according to this baby going blah 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 blah. Like it's like, yeah, we'll leave him. That's fine. Fucking useless ass.
At this point, we just have to assume that the Yoda species are fucking stupid, because after 50 years, you're still goo and gagaing. It's ridiculous.
I mean, maybe he's got learning difficulties for like that species. Everyone's acting like he's this prodigy, but he's kind of like retarded. You know, it's just like no one can say it.
Yeah.
It's like that Robot Chicken sketch with E.T. where it's like all the other E.T.s, like all of their fingers light up. He's just like the dim one.
They're like, don't all Yodas do this? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
No. And Jon Favreau said that Luke had Baby Yoda for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then
he's gone back and forth on that.
And then Jesus Christ, brain's going dead. Cowboy Man.
Cowboy Man?
Yeah. Dave Filoni.
Oh,
and then Dave Filoni said, we're not even out of the first year.
Like I said, Jon Favreau has said a couple of quotes that don't make any fucking sense when you put them all together. In terms he doesn't know what the timeline is. It's the kind of thing that happens when someone says like, "Oh, how cool is it that Baby Yoda's hung out with Luke for?" And then he's like, "Yeah, for years." Years?
Is it?
Like I don't know. Like, we didn't
You
write
tell
this
me.
shit down. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I guess like they've got lower level people whose job it is to keep the chronology of all this stuff straight, and it's like they just literally scroll their ideas for the episodes on the back of a beer mat or something and hand it over. It's like, okay, make a script out of that.
It's like Jeremy is like, what is it? Is it 2 years, 1 year, a few months? It's a guy with like Cheeto fingers. Like I don't 6 months, 3 days, 6 months and 3 days. That's it. Go with that.
Yeah.
Isn't Star Wars Celebration is coming up in early April in your neck of the woods, right? It's in Europe,
London,
right?
London, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, I don't really feel like there's much to celebrate.
Oh no, I would
Star
rather
Wars
stick
these
my
days.
dick in a vice.
Okay.
Tighten it.
And it's your right to do that.
Yeah.
I couldn't even honestly, I couldn't even imagine going. You just go in and you just be like, oh, it just like stinks of fucking self-flatulation, you know? It's
self-flatulation.
Yeah.
Well, what do they have? They don't have anything. They're not announcing any movies. All these movies they've announced are finally just on indefinite hold as they're not in active development. That means that those are dead projects.
Well, we've got Rogue Squadron. Oh wait, no.
that got put in inactive last year, and now I think it's just they're okay to just there's a notification just come through from Bloomberg that Suicide Squad versus the Justice League, that video game has been put back due to bad fan response to the trailer. Really? It's also reactionary because it doesn't feel like anything is thought through.
No,
there's no plan for anything anymore with these companies, and we know there's no plan for Star Wars, and we know they're winging that. I got no interest in anything Star Wars related. Nothing, zilch, nada. I don't care about Mando season 3. I'm not watching that. I might watch an episode of The Acolyte just to see if I can get anything out of that.
Okay, let me describe the climactic ending to Mando season 3,
Jesus.
episode 2, and see if this can tempt you to watch it.
Sure.
He finally arrives.
I'm going to go for a piss while you're doing this. Back in a minute.
Finally, Captain Mandalorian Man arrives at his home planet world to bathe in the waters of cleansing goodness. And he's doing his little speech about all the things, like, I am courageous man, or I got to do this for the honor of the peoples of Mandalore. Takes off his jetpack, and he's like, got to do this because blah, blah, blah. Takes off some other stuff or whatever. Bo-Katan's just sitting there watching him. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't really believe in it, I don't think. And he takes a step forward, and he's like, for Mandalore. Takes another step, then another step. And then he just falls. Like, she goes, phew. And most of the audience is like, oh, did he get eaten by, like, a space thing? Whatever. And Bo-Katan, like, jumps straight in because she knows what's happened. She's cycling down. First thing we were noticing was like, wow, this is taking a while. She's still going. She's going deeper and deeper and deeper. She finds him right at the bottom, and he's just there, alone. Then she picks him up, and he's knocked out, by the way, like unconscious or something. She has to drag him up herself by jetpack. And as she's going up, she spots a mythosaur, which is a big Star Wars reference, cool monster thing. Then she gets up there, and he like chokes a bit. He's like, oh, I'm okay. And we were all sitting there like, wait, so was it a monster that grabbed him, or did he just drown? Did he? Because he didn't have his jetpack and he has all of his armor on. So would he just drown? Did he just sink? And is that what happened? Chat, help me out. Like, I was very confused because it didn't look like a creature grabbed him because there was no creature on him and he was okay. He didn't have any like bite marks or anything. He was just unconscious. So I think the conclusion is his armor is heavy. And he slipped and fell and drowned.
What's his armor made out of? Like pure lead or something? Like
I thought his armor was made out of Beskar, which is actually meant to be light. And very durable.
There's no way he could have like tumbled hundreds of feet down to the bottom of that lake if he just sank. And like, why would he have like passed out instantly from doing that?
I don't understand any of it. I'm very confused, and I thought that they actually wanted to make it so that this traumatic, triumphant, whatever moment, amazing moment, I should say, of him getting his honor back, his reputation back, undoing all of the sins of whatever, and he slips in his bathtub and drowns. Like, I feel like that's not.
I honestly, when all of that scene was playing, I was waiting for a gag. I thought it's gonna happen. Because it's Disney, they're going to have to be some stupid piece of humor that undercuts this serious moment that's meant to be really important for him. And yeah, sure enough, it happened. Like, I don't know if it was played entirely for laughs, because it's meant to be like, you know, unexpected and shocking that he's been attacked all of a sudden. But it's still, you couldn't just let the moment play out for what it was. It's like it had to be undercut with something. And I assume what happened was like he was attacked by this creature, and we're going to learn more about what the hell it is and what it wants in the next episode. I assume.
Maybe.
But yeah, it was.
It's just weird to me that why undercut it at all? Why not just have it work?
Because nothing can be allowed to sit. Like, you can't have a somber scene like that where it's just a guy doing a serious thing for a few seconds and we just take a moment to appreciate the impact of it. It has to have action, or it has to have a joke. Of every single time, because that's what modern writing is. It's everything has to be made into a joke or an action scene.
Well, there you go then. Az, you gonna watch it?
I'm gonna pass.
Damn it! I did everything to tempt you, but you know,
I was so close to turning, but
I just love this from is it Kung Fury? Whereas it's like, we have deliberately trained him wrong as a joke. Jack can help me. I've seen the movie. I always lose the name of it.
The action scenes in that were so numbing. Like, it's just it's so boring. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I thought it was weird where I thought episode 1 ended where his goal now is to go get the part so that he can repair his droid. Yes. And then episode 2 kind of pulls a Last Jedi and is like, no, fuck that. I don't want that. And they just give him another droid instead. So it like completely eliminates any purpose of what was going on.
I'm pretty sure.
And he's now achieved his mission as well. It's like he needed that droid's help to get to Mandalore and get into the mines. Yeah. And it's like,
don't even get me started, dude.
Wouldn't you know it? Bo-Katan, a fucking human, was the one who was able to help him and do all the things he needed to do anyway. And incidentally, she can wield the Darksaber when he can't. Like,
why
she can
is
actually use it.
So when Grief Karga and the bunch of Babu Fricks were all like, hey man, you should just get a new droid, he was like, no. And then when Lady in Tatooine is like, just use this clearly broken and afraid droid, he goes, okay. Why? Why have they built it that way? And then it's like, I need a droid because I need someone to help me analyze the atmosphere on the planet. It's like, your ship can't do that?
Yeah. It doesn't have computers.
And then why would you need a fucking IG unit for that? That's like a fucking fighter droid. Why would that be the one you go with? And then it's like, well, because I trust him. And then, like, the first thing he does when you wake him up is try to kill you.
But then it's like, when they get to the planet, Mando's like, he says to the droid, like, okay, you go over there and sample the atmosphere. It's like, fucking, do you not understand the atmosphere is just kind of around? Like, you don't have to go to a specific
Dude,
bit
that was
to
funny as
sample
fuck.
it.
That shit, when people were telling me episode 2 was good, I was like, when they come back, Draker, after he rescues the droid, he comes all the way back, and he's like, right, now let's analyze what you found. The atmosphere is clear. There's atmosphere everywhere. What do you mean?
Test the atmosphere. Okay, here it is. Test it over there.
Same.
Now test it over there.
Yeah.
It's all the same, dude. It's all the same. Oh, okay.
It's so stupid. Like, and then he's like, wow. So it turns out what everyone knows to be true about Mandalore is false. This place is livable. It's like, nobody just checked.
Is this
fucking what Bo-Katan could have checked? She's just like,
is this
she's
Star
right next
Wars
door.
sonar in space moment?
This is a moment of nobody went there because everyone thought it was no point in
And
going
it's like,
there.
Bo-Katan getting there, like, it was like barely an inconvenience for her. Like,
Yeah,
it's
next
like
door, next door neighbor.
It's like an hour's work. Yeah, it's like she gets in her ship and she's there, and it's like, okay, I'm setting foot on this place that I'd never thought I'd be again for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
it's fine.
it's very casual.
Barely an inconvenience.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure they're in the same system or whatever, but it still takes time. And it's just, he easily could have died, but that droid already started draining his blood a few seconds before she came in. It's like, oh, okay, I was lucky.
It's so dumb.
So much of the
Sounds like
show
a-
is just it just so much of the show seems like garbage time. Literally trying to fill enough
It's filler.
time so that it is a show. It's filler. Well, it's like and this is a common thing that happens in TV. You'll especially notice it in shows that are procedurals and old episodes of the X-Files. If you see, there's so many times where characters pull up to a residence in a car, maybe have an exchange of dialogue that is meaningless and you don't need. They get out of the car, they walk up the steps, they knock on the door. That's garbage time. It's to fill a specific running time of 48 minutes or whatever the running time is. And that's just garbage time. And it's very common in television, right? That's something TV directors have to have some business for actors to do so that, like, in cutting the show, it reaches a running time. In The Mandalorian, seems like tons of those kinds of scenes, like, baby Yoda, Grogu, whatever, going back to get Bo-Katan. What was the point of that? It was stupid. So much of it just seems meaningless. That's probably why the show isn't resonating, because so much of it doesn't matter. And I got in a conversation with Gary about this. The whole lore with the Mandalorian I just think it's straight up stupid.
Yeah, they fucked it up.
You can't take your helmet off. Okay, you get a helmet, I guess, as a young boy. I guess it doesn't matter if your head grows or you outgrow it. Not to mention the fact that Pedro Pascal takes off the helmet and has a perfectly coiffed haircut that looks like he got it at Supercuts. And his
You can
mustache.
take your helmet off. You're just not allowed to take your helmet off in front of people. People
But that's
can't.
not
cuts your hair
true,
then?
because he does it in episode 4 of season 1, and he doesn't care because he's right in front of a bunch of kids playing around, and it's
Well,
like,
that's the weird thing. It's like he was like, look, he's taking his helmet off to eat, so that and he's looking out of a window, and somebody could just go, "Hey,
Yep.
Pedro, hi mate."
Someone just goes walking by, like,
yeah.
Don't look like,
So but they said that not allowed to take it off in front of other people.
well, he has to be. Remember, it's explained to him at the end of season 1. He's like, I can't do it. And the droid is like, I don't really count as a person. It's like, why are you telling this man this? Why is this happening? Like, what?
the thing is, now we know that, like, Pedro Pascal isn't even wearing the armor or even appearing on set.
Right.
Like, it's literally just a stuntman, and he just
Yeah.
provides the occasional bit of voiceover. And
but it's,
yeah, like,
it's so
to-
dumb. Sorry, Gregor.
Yeah, when you were saying, Chris, like the whole garbage time element of it, yeah, the show is essentially predicated on that. So much of it is just like, how can we just eat up an episode? And some of it is just them taking a really long time to walk places, or like the bullshit with the droid, like go and sample the atmosphere over there, because I'm sure it's totally different from here. Just all stuff that just eats up time. And it's, I don't know, man. It should be an easy thing to come up with to write good stories for something like The Mandalorian, because you've essentially got a blank canvas. You can send him anywhere. He's not tied into the overarching Star Wars mythology or anything. You can take him off on some wacky adventure on some far-flung planet, whatever. Like, just have him do bounties, collect bounties. That's what he started out doing. That alone is the basis for a good show. And yeah, you can come up with great little standalone episodes doing that. But it's like here, we've got enough plot for about 10 minutes, but we have to stretch it out into a 40-minute episode.
You know what's interesting as well is you suggested that he just, they have a conversation and she agrees. They have some level of agreement. She goes with him. An idea we talked about was you can, not only can you reduce the screen time, you can add more character in. If you had it be that she outright declines, he goes on his own, and then he gets hit by that thing, he's captured and he's panicking, Baby Yoda gets sent off, but the baby can't fucking operate shit on its own, it's nearly dead. She saves the baby, then she saves him, or however you want to do the scenes. But the point is that she followed him. And then he can be like, she's like, I told you not to come here, you fucking idiot. You would prepare, whatever. And then he'd be like, well, why are you here? And then, you'd be like, oh, it's because... And then basically underlying, she cares about him. Also underlying, she needs to come back here herself. Plenty of conflict you can generate from that. And the fact that maybe she didn't step in fast enough because she was considering letting him die and taking the saber, you could have that in there too. And you could point that out. You can generate a bunch of conflict from it, and it would be quicker. It's like Unreal that there's just no time effective writing at all. It's more so just how do we pad? We got a pad. Let's show him walking all the way down and flying all the way down. Then we'll show Yoda going all the way back and all the way back up to the ship, and then we'll show her walking all the way down and back down with it's like, you're fucking kidding me. Seriously. We've seen this path like 5 times. Stop.
My brother-in-law and my sister, they're complete normies when it comes to TV. They're not nerds, they're not geeks. They just watch stuff, whether it be sci-fi or just a procedural. And they've been watching The Mandalorian. And they said, and my brother was saying to me today on streaming with him, and he was just like, for the most part, we've liked it. A little bit ropey at the end of season 2, he said, but he said we tuned in and watched the first episode of Mandalorian season 3, and he said we were just bored out of our minds. And this is just complete normies now. Just said nothing happened in the whole show. We were just bored. And that's your normie audience. That's the people that you're trying to get, because you're trying to push all the Star Wars fans out. So this is your target audience, and your target audience. I know, okay, 2 people, so I can't extrapolate it to be everyone. But if somebody who really doesn't have any dog in this fight is coming out and going, look, there was just nothing there. It was just boring as hell. I think you're in a spot of bother there.
I've always thought they've treated Mandalorian as sort of a seat warmer until they get the content coming out that they actually consider to be important. This has always been low risk, low effort, and just there he is. He's doing Star Wars things until we figure out what the hell's going on. But man, it's time to pay the piper.
Did. That's the problem.
You've never figured out what you're doing. And Mando's just still going. They're like, what else now? It's like, I don't know. He just keeps doing things. It's the baby doing cute stuff. It's him walking around. It's, oh, look, cameo. Never actually develop anything.
Well, he can't take his helmet off. 3 seasons of that.
Well, that used to be a point of respect, but at this point, it's just like, I don't even fucking know who the character is. It's not the fact that he had to keep the helmet on. It's just that they never really did much work for characters.
The other thing that's always weird for me now is like, okay, so he used to have this ship that it was like a kind of clunky cargo ship that got blown up, but it was functional for him because it was like a home for him to live in. They had like sleeping quarters and stuff. Now he's just got this like starfighter, which you can't do anything except sit in the cockpit of. That's all you have.
Yep.
But like, I guess that just doesn't matter now. Like he can just get instantly where he needs to go.
How'd you sleep? How'd you piss? How'd you do it? But correct me if I'm wrong here. But I interpreted the end of season 2 as Baby Yoda was more important to him than the religious belief of keeping the helmet on.
Yeah.
And that's why he took it off and dropped the helmet on the floor. And then the very first thing in season 3 is, I need to atone for my sins of taking my helmet off. I'm an acolyte.
Dude,
Doesn't
I'm
that
stuck all
go
the way back to the
against what
fact
you
that...
just did with I fucking know.
Well, whatever
Maybe.
meaning people drew out of the end of season 2, which I remember the conversations being like, this is significant, and finally the show will now, you know, develop its next sort of formatting because we're done with the Baby Yoda arc. So then everyone feels kind of betrayed. I was never a fan of it anyway, so I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But a lot of people are like, what the fuck? Like, seriously, you just undid all of the things that you were going to change. Didn't have the balls. And that's exactly what happened. They thought about changing it, and they were like, what the hell are you doing? Don't change it.
It's like,
yeah, this is the one right now.
Yeah, this is the only thing that like people seem to enjoy that we've put out, and it's the only thing that's marketable. Yeah, we need to have Baby Yoda in everything.
Yeah,
it just makes him want to have his cake and eat it too. He's a selfish character now.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's all about like, well, I'm attached to this kid, I suppose, and I want to have them around me, regardless of whether that's the right thing for them. Doesn't matter. So, yeah. And we had that weird interlude where he was basically in Book of Boba Fett, and that was like the real kickoff for this season, and it was just, you know, ported into this other show. It's just like, oh, the whole narrative is fucked. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to know what the conversations are behind the scenes. Like, does anyone even know what the plan is for this? Do they know where it's going? Do they know why any of it's even getting made? Or is it just...
Nope.
Just keep filling in some time.
And is that how it went too? Like this, what was in Book of Boba Fett was actually supposed to be part of Mando season 3.
It seems to be based on like what you see there. It's just like it zips into a whole other narrative, a whole other story out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, because I skipped Book of Boba Fett because I heard it was horrible. But so it sounds to me like they put Mando in there because Mando is so popular, or it was at the time. To help sell that show, and it ended up actually negatively impacting season 3 of the actual show.
If you don't know, episodes 1, 2, 3, 4 of Boba Fett look like they were all shot together and they're awful. And then episode 5 happens, and it's literally just a Mandalorian episode. There's no Boba Fett in it. It's all him, and it's shot way better. It's got way higher budget, clearly, and it's a whole reset. Mando gets a new ship, and he gets like new access and a new mission and stuff. And it's like, what is happening? What has this got to do with Boba Fett? And then eventually, by the time we hit the next episode, we see how he connects over to Boba Fett, and they destroy an army of droids together at the end. And it's really cool. Or, well, there's 2, but whatever. Then it's like, yeah, there we go. And he's back with Baby Yoda. And it is literally like, wait a minute. We just undid all of Mando's story in his own show on Boba Fett? And it's like, welcome to season 3, where it's the same as season 1 and 2. And it's like, wow. A lot of people felt like I misnamed it, our reaction, calling it season 3, episode 1. It's like, it's clearly episode 3. It's like, no.
That's like sitcom style stuff.
It is. It's crazy.
Like resetting back to the norm so that everything's the same for the next episode. That's so weird.
Yeah. Well, it's like when they have 2 characters that finally get together and then they have them undo it pretty quickly and go back to the tension part.
Yep. Got to get back to that formula. Just change the values slightly, but the formula remains the same.
I don't know how long it'll last. Seeing a lot more frustration for Mandalorian these days than back when season 1 and 2 were going.
Well, it's just as well he's not a bounty hunter anymore, because where's he going to put the carbonite people?
When was the last time he actually did that anyway? Even in season 1 and 2?
Season 1, episode 1.
That is the last time he did it, yeah.
See, that was that version of the Mandalorian that we got in that very first episode intro. That was a cool one.
Dude, he said, like, okay, this guy I like. Cold. He's talking about how, yeah, if you force me to, I'll kill you to bring you in. It's like, oh, this sounds interesting. Finally, we can get some kind of a character that actually has to live on the edges of space, having to do things that are maybe morally dubious. It's like, nope, he's just having fun adventures with his baby.
Adventures in Babysitting Mandalorian version.
Speaking of adventures in babysitting, we've I don't know if any of you guys are still keeping up with The Last of Us, because I feel like all conversation about that show has kind of petered out.
Yeah. Nobody's talking about it anymore.
We're still watching it. We're still like doggedly going through with it, and there's only one more episode, and that's the season
true.
over.
The big one. Will they do all of the things?
Yeah. I mean, I gotta be honest, right? I watched 7 and 8 back to back. 7, I was bored off my tits. Like it felt so unnecessary. I know that it's the Left Behind DLC. It added absolutely nothing to the narrative. It was just a boring bottle episode that went nowhere. And then, yeah, even episode 8 with the cannibals, I don't know. I just found myself not that invested in it for some reason. You know, Joe gets to do a few cool things, I guess. He wakes up eventually. But yeah, there's still
He does wake up.
I mean, yeah, even then, it's like, well, he doesn't rescue Ellie or anything like that. Like, he basically just happens to be in the same location as her when she escapes, and so they reunite conveniently and then move on, and that's all you get, really.
All right, what's happening? Reunite conveniently. The whole place is on fire. That's why he goes there, and he wants to save her specifically. And to be fair, I'm assuming you want it to be accurate, right? Are we? He doesn't save her in the game either.
Well, no, this is it, and this was a turning point for her character in the game, where it's like the first time that she genuinely has to stand alone, and well, it gets pretty brutal, I guess. But because the dynamic between the two of them has been different in the TV show, it doesn't have the same impact. Because he was very much her protector in the game, and very much the one who was looking out for her. But in the TV show, it's a lot more equal. You know, a lot of the time she's the one who's like, you know, she'll be covering for him when he's falling asleep in the middle of his watch in the middle of the night. Well, I know, but like, you don't know how many times that's actually happened. Like, we see it once, but like,
they're
you're
explicit.
trying to...
It's once. It's never happened before.
Yeah, but it's trying to represent the dynamic between the characters. And it's always her who's like, right, we need to get moving, let's go. You know, it's little things like that. And they're all tiny little examples individually that don't mean much, but they add up to an overall picture that I'm starting to get with Joel and Ellie. And because of that, the fact that she then has to stand on her own in this doesn't have the same impact that it did in the games for me, because she's kind of good at that stuff already. And I'm really not buying into this thing that everyone keeps treating her as like this leader in waiting. Like the leader of the cannibals said to her, like, oh yeah, you could be like co-leader with me because I can see in you the potential to be a great leader of our people.
You know why he was saying that, right?
I get, yeah, I kind of get what he was hinting at there. But like, he's trying to sell her on that, and like, it was the same thing that was put to her in episode 7, where it's like, we've got you in the officer training program for Fedra because we think you can be a great leader. And I just look at Ellie and think, what about her behavior and her temperament makes you think she'd be good at leading people? She really doesn't seem like that kind of person. She seems like much more of a lone wolf.
Well, I mean, both the context I don't even really want to go into why David was saying that to her, because we all know why if you've played it or whatever. Kwong was telling her it to make her behave, right? He was like, if you straighten up and fly right, you get to have jobs that are way more interesting and better than the sewage jobs and stuff.
Well, yeah, but he wouldn't even be... Like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, if she was deemed to be untrainable and, like, someone who's just not going to be capable of doing any of this stuff, they wouldn't even have her in that program. She wouldn't be a trainee. Whereas, like, with this, it genuinely seems like they believe she's destined for better things. That's why they're trying to shape her into this officer. But again, like, I'm just not really bought into why they believe that.
Oh, I thought he was saying, like, there's just, everyone gets slotted into one of two positions, right? Like, the leaders and the followers, and that it's a much more, it's a much better position to be in a leader than the people who, he said, like, you can even boss around the girls you don't like, which I thought was strange as an admission of, like, in hierarchy bullying or something.
I mean, I guess that's what they're trying to hint that Fedra is now. It's just like perhaps a hierarchy of people like with grudges and you know, chips on their shoulder or whatever. Like,
well, it's certainly been fucked in other places, eh? Like the one that Ellie's from is probably the nicest Fedra we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess this is another thing that I wanted to mention is like the TV show doesn't, and I don't know how well the game explored this either, but it doesn't seem that willing to engage with the morality of this stuff, because what you get is arguments from characters like Riley saying like, well, Fedra are just a bunch of fascist pigs, you know, and Ellie points out to them, well, they're literally the only thing holding like society together and keeping us from just descending into like anarchy and everyone killing each other. And Riley doesn't have an answer for that. She's like, well, they're still fascists, and I'm like, well.
Well, her answer's even more lame than that. She says, "Oh,
you're really hard to argue with, or something."
Like, she says, "You just don't know. There are things you don't know." That's what she ends it with, like twice, and it's like, okay. No, I agree. I was annoyed that they didn't reach any kind of interesting conclusion in that conversation at all.
Because, you know, you could make the argument quite easily. Fedra are just like a necessary evil in a world like this. It's like they're not good, clearly. Like they're quite, you know, brutal and authoritarian, but they also stop like society collapsing completely. And there's interesting things to be explored with that. It's like, would you rather have like a kind of dictatorship that keeps things just ticking over barely, or would you rather just have complete anarchy where it's every man for himself?
Yeah, and Ellie actually brings that up to Riley, and then Riley, when she's like, you know, you guys, Fireflies are bombing places and people getting hurt, and she's like, nah, that's propaganda and lies. And it's like, oh, is that it? That's as far as this is going to go? We won't get anything? Because that feels like an opportunity for Riley as a character. We don't... It was surprising. There's a whole episode spent on her, and one of our criticisms was just like, I feel like I don't know Riley that well. Yeah, like 50 minutes, and I feel like she wants to be a Firefly because they made her a sewer worker, and she hated that.
Well, it's because the episode wastes so much time on her. Yeah, the episode wastes so much time on just her showing stuff to Ellie, like nice stuff, like video game arcades and all that thing. But like that doesn't tell you much about her, and it's like, well, there's much more interesting conversations to be had there about like the world that they live in and like how it functions and what she actually stands for and what she believes in. But like I was saying, you know, it doesn't really take the time to do that, because I think the writers know they can't really get themselves out of that corner that they're writing themselves into. You're not going to be able to justify the idea that Fedra just need to be overthrown at any cost because they're kind of serving a useful purpose, even if you don't like them.
I mean, they should have talked about it. I also thought it was ridiculous that they have the whole mall to themselves, and she basically in a throwaway line says like, yeah, Fedra don't know about this place. And it's like, how what? Like, that's not even like the energy draw of the mall would be enough for them to find it, but it's a mall. They're in a city. They know it's there.
Because I don't know about you guys, right? When I'm building,
you can't even see it. It's like,
when I'm building a shopping mall, I like to build mine as a fucking secret underground bunker that like no one knows exists.
Yeah, what? Like, yeah.
And Fedra probably went shopping malls. There's nothing of interest in shopping malls that we could use. Never mind.
It's all on. It's all drawing power, and it's like, yeah, they it's fine. It's like, no,
yeah,
like
because
that's probably drawing more power than the fucking city at this point.
Yeah, because it's kind of implied that like just a street getting power hooked up to it again is like a big deal. Like, oh, you've got these really like low wattage like street lamps working again. See, it's progress. And then yeah, like you say, Mo, you've got this fucking enormous underground city almost, like with like shops and arcades everywhere. The power requirements just to run that would be insane. Like it would blow out the entire grid.
When you're in like post-apocalypse levels, you control energy. You don't just like, it's not on and infinite. Everyone will be knowing like there's probably times where they turn it off or on. There's going to be a lot of rationing, so to speak. The idea that this mall is just this fucking vampire on the whole system, they don't care. Like, no.
It's like everyone across the city, like all their lights in their houses will just be dimming. Like, huh, what's going on here? Nah, I don't know. Nothing important.
Still, I thought the Cannibal episode was pretty good. My main issue with the show as a whole at this point is just there wasn't enough time to breathe. It probably should have been maybe 2 seasons for the first game, or that they should have wasted time less on some other stuff. But it's
well, I know where they could have picked up an hour and 15 minutes.
That's the thing. I can see the point. I even with Left Behind, Drinker, like the point I assume is the same as the game, where it's supposed to give you a big old like development for why Ellie is so obsessed with making sure Joel makes it. Is that Riley inspired her that even when you know you're going to die, even if you've got 5 minutes left, you'll make the most of it, sort of thing, and never let go. We take advantage of all the time we can get, sort of thing. That's why they intercut it, right? And
yeah, I get what they're trying to do there. Like I would have just been enough to... It would have been enough for me to buy into the fact that they've been together for months now. They've been through lots of stuff together, and she just cares about him.
And well, we actually concluded. I think, funnily enough, I think that episode is more superfluous than episode 3. I see more purpose in episode 3 than in episode 8. And I think if you remove episode 8, almost as a whole, and then put it between maybe 4 and 5, and make it just an episode about Joel and Ellie doing Joel and Ellie things, maybe in Kansas City, make that sequence a bit longer. That would help out with the overall, because I think everyone's just not as bound to these two as they were to the people in the game, and the game can afford to add a DLC on later that you can check out, but they've made this one of the 9 episodes, and it's just like, I just don't know that you have the time to spare, because we're already in the finale now, and it's like, all right.
Yeah, there's no real sense of gathering pace or anything like that. It's just like we're flitting from one situation to another. You know, I guess, how can I put this? What you might be able to do in a scenario like this is show them, say, their supplies are dwindling, they're getting more and more desperate as they're trying to reach their destination, like time's running out, whatever it might be. You can just do stuff to increase the urgency of the situation or the pace of things as you build up towards your finale of your season. Here, it's just like, I don't get any sense that there's really anything going on. They're just kind of like moving from place to place, just seeing whatever happens next, I guess. You know, and it's just, it's not really enough to keep it's not enough to keep me going. It's not enough to give me a sense that, right, we're almost at the finale of this story now. It could be anything next. You know, we know that there's one more episode to go, but that's because we know the games and we know the episode numbers. That's it. I would have no sense that like it's got anything particularly amazing coming up, right? Like in the next episode.
Well, yeah, and I'm curious if they're going to change it all to better suit The Last of Us 2, or if we're going to get... there's a couple of things I want to be the case, like she's unconscious and that they Welch on the deal and that they kick him out. I want those things to happen, but there's no guarantee at this point because they might change it all because the Fireflies need to look a bit better. Don't know. We'll find out in a couple of days.
Maybe it's because of the context that I watched it. Like I played the game one time, the original one. I never played the second one like 10 years ago. And I just binged all 8 episodes. So I'm watching it as someone who has no, like, I can't speak on the how well it adapted the game or anything. So like I'm watching it and I'm just pretty riveted and extremely invested. I would say like episode 7, I agree with you. That was kind of like a throwaway one. But as someone who can't compare with how Joel and Ellie were in the game, like I'm very, very invested at this point. And at the end of episode 8, I think it was the point where Joel's laying down and she's like moving the bookshelf and looking for the medication, where I came to the realization of like, oh, he's not really necessarily like the protector, because they, like you said, like it became more even. And like I was so invested, like even at the end when she was killing David, because you don't have to play the games apparently to know what that was alluding to. I
think they're more over in the show, to be honest. When he says,
"Oh, really?
I like it when they fight." I think he's something. I don't think he says that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. But when she did that, I was legitimately rooting for her. So you know, as someone who really can't speak for the game, I'm really enjoying it. But my friends, you know, this is just one person, but along with you guys, he's played the games, loves the games, but just is not fond of the show very much.
The show is not as good as the game. That is, I think, and I'm the person who's probably like...
I think that's the frustrating thing, where it's like the game laid out the roadmap for you, and it's like you're just refusing to follow it for some reason.
They followed a lot of it in a lot of places. They just, as far as I'm concerned, is not enough time was spent with Ellie and Joel. That was the thing that they needed to nail. We had a super chat, no, not super chat, sorry, a comment.
The game?
Yeah, exactly. We had a comment that basically tried to sum it up. It's like, really take a broad look at what we got. And it's like, you got to chop out 8 and 3, pretty much, for Joel and Ellie. It's like, all right, so we've lost 2 out of 9 already. First episode, most of it has nothing to do with Joel and Ellie. And when they meet, they don't, there's not much going on there. It's like, so that's another one lost. Episode 2, it's mainly Tess that's more so connecting with Ellie. They get a scene, I think, where they talk a little bit, and it's all right. Some stuff where it's like, wow, that's really limited. So what have we got in total? It's like 4, 5, 6, 8. And then that really, I think, starts to fit together in my head. It's like, yeah, we didn't get We needed more time to build them up foundationally before you put them through the trials. Because I actually think they did a good job with episode 8. It's just that there's not enough to support the before parts, I think.
Well, like I say, all throughout this, I've just never felt the dynamic between them worked all that great. And it's not a problem that's been solved. In fact, if anything, it's just kind of gotten worse, particularly as we got into this episode where it's like completely abandoned because, you know, now it was supposed to be the reversal of roles with Ellie as the protector. And it's just, yeah, I think it really undercuts the paternal relationship that was supposed to exist between them. It feels more like a brother-sister kind of bond. And I just, yeah, I'm not liking it. Like the overall quality of the show, I think, is good. The design of the thing, the atmosphere that it creates, all pretty effective. Don't see a huge amount of the infected in it. I'd like to have seen a bit more of that as well, because it feels like they're almost like an afterthought at this point. They're just gone.
Yeah, when I binged it, I really picked up on that. I was like, you don't see a lot of these things.
I think episode, was it 5 when you get like they all come out of the
horde?
Yeah, that was good. That was good stuff like that. But like that's one moment in one episode, and that's pretty much the best of it.
I think it was an interesting thing just binging the show because I remember the conversations about it, but I just watched it over the past couple of days. So like I remember episode 3 and the talk about it, and I was really sold because of the fact that like when it comes to things, like sometimes the performances are so good it can get you invested. And I think that's what I've taken away from this is like it seems like even if it's failing in some aspects for people, it's clearly been made with a lot of care, and the performances are top notch in certain spots, and like even subtle things like Joel seems to kind of not have as extreme of an accent as he did in 2003, and that makes sense because he moved across the country. And you know, when you're mingling with people that don't have that accent, you probably are going to start losing it. Just like if you move somewhere with one, you'll probably start gaining one. It just subtle things, little things like that.
Not
I appreciate
at
it.
that age.
If I was cynical, I would say it's because Pedro Pascal couldn't maintain that accent for
yeah.
the last season.
That's fair.
I'll one up a lot of you and just say,
Absolutely.
listening to him, he's definitely inconsistent on the accent. He's not putting enough effort into it. It's the one thing I think I'd be more critical of him about the performance, because I quite like him as the emotional parts. Hell, I will defend Bella Ramsey. I think that some of the harder scenes she's had to do, she's done really well. But yeah, I don't think his accent's been consistent at all.
Remember the beginning of Girl with a Dragon Tattoo? Daniel Craig tries to do a British Scandinavian accent, and then he just got told, just
stop.
Stop. Yeah. Just speak normally, Daniel.
Just
and
before
they
we
didn't even reshoot. They just kept it in it.
Fuck it, it's good enough. Just before we go on, I know Chris, you've got to jump off, man. I want to say thanks for coming on for this.
Cool.
Really appreciate your insight, especially into John Wick 4. Be interested to actually watch that when it comes out.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Yes. And real quick, I agree with all of you on the DLC episodes of The Last of Us. That's effectively what they are, these sort of side quest episodes. Too many of them for the first season. But I will say, thankfully, because I stopped watching The Walking Dead after, I can't believe I suffered through 4 or 5 seasons of that. But some of these conflicts or these, it seems like The Walking Dead would have dragged that out an entire season. So I'm almost thankful that some of these encounters with others, on this journey are brief, right? Because what was the woman? She sounds exactly like Rocky the squirrel from Rocky and Bullwinkle. She was the leader of that group. Am I wrong? She sounds like Rocky the squirrel. That could have gone on a whole season with Walking Dead, but it was 2 episodes and the conflict was over. So I'm grateful for that, and also I hadn't played the game before this, so I'm actually enjoying it. But I do believe that 3rd episode, while I enjoyed the episode, what was that doing as the 3rd episode? There needed to be a strengthening of those relationships. So before I leave, just a couple quick things. One, I got to run to go see a movie 65 with Adam Driver, which no one is talking about.
Hey.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah.
Let us know how it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's
Yeah,
terrible. I could save you the time and already tell you it's terrible because they did no press screenings for it. The press screening for it was this morning. I'm just going to the theater to see it. And then this weekend, if you're interested, come by the Film Threat. We're doing an Oscars watch party on the Film Threat channel. And I think as you'll be there, if anyone else would like to join, let me know. I think Gary Nerdrotic will be there, other people that you're familiar with. So it should be a lot of fun. The Oscars might be interesting this year because they're debuting the full trailer for Little Mermaid. And they're apparently doing previews of movies opening later this year. So I'm hoping to get a glimpse of Dune 2. That's one of the few films.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
So look, the Oscars is going to be a shit show. It's going to be boring, but we'll have fun roasting it. So come by. You'll see familiar faces. And thanks for the invite, Drinker. I'll see you there, or I'll see you later. See you Sunday. Thanks again, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, Chris.
Take care.
The link to Film Threat is in the description, by the way. So if anyone's not subscribed to him, then please consider giving it a go.
Do you happen to notice, Trigger? We had possibly the most interesting set of 5 people to talk about The Last of Us. We didn't even realize it. Like, we had the full spectrum because I didn't realize Chris had even seen it. Or Movie Cynic. I feel bad. We should have poked around a bit more.
Hey, we're still here.
Yeah.
I was going to say as well, though, we do have a whole bunch of super chats that have been piling up while we've been chatting away here. So we could perhaps do a few of those.
I am on board with that.
Alrighty. Waylon Bicephus says, you cunning man, you York Hunt or Jack me off? Which, see what you did there. I mean, either one's fine, you know. Also from the same guy says, howdy boys, would you rather have first name Amanda, second name Hug and Kiss, or would you rather have Mike, surname Hawk?
Wait, is this Andrew Tate in Incognito?
It might be. But anyway, he carries on. Thoughts on the movie Blood Diamond? As who was the most attractive person in She-Hulk? So a whole bunch of questions there. We should put you as you can answer your question first, I guess.
The most attractive person in She-Hulk was
Daredevil.
I was going to say Charlie Cox.
Yeah, you like the Cox, yeah.
There was nothing in. I mean, I think Tati Maslany. I loved her in Orphan Black. You know, I thought she was great in that. She looked great, and she just looked so dowdy in She-Hulk, and obviously she's playing alcoholic whore. And then her friend was just got a paintbrush and just. And then that was it, wasn't it? That was it in terms of female.
There wasn't much, no. Yeah, I can't really think of anyone else.
No, it was the stupid influencer woman.
Oh, what? Titania?
Titania. Yeah, I'd bang her.
Okay. Nice. As far as Blood Diamond goes,
I was such a fine, I'll have that one.
Yeah.
Come on, love, get into bed. Let's go.
And I'm not going to put much effort in either.
Yeah.
You have to warm yourself up.
And you're making a cup of tea afterwards.
Also, Blood Diamond. I thought it was a really good movie. I liked it.
I remember liking it. I haven't seen it in forever, though.
Mr. Lucas says, can you do some accents?
No,
dance for us, monkey. Okay.
Do your American as.
I think that's in reference to a stream we do a couple of days ago. I was doing bad accents on purpose.
Yeah, okay.
On purpose.
Horsemeat says, question for the whole panel. Do you have a YouTube channel you watch that's either a guilty pleasure or outside the culture commentary community? For me, it's Vatividya, Dark Souls lore videos, and Coffee House Crime.
Retro Ahoy. He's like my favorite YouTube channel that almost never uploads. It's once per a year sometimes, but he just does probably the most objective breakdowns of anything ever. I recommend his videos on Half-Life, Quake, and then he just does stuff on guns, loads of stuff on the history of guns, and then he'll use video games and the influence they've had in terms of culture on video games, like, you know, the M1911. It's like where it started in history, why it was so popular, how it was made, and then where it went in video games and why it keeps showing up and stuff. It's really cool. Full recommendation, and he has nothing to do with anything else in the internet. He's his own little island.
Nice. I guess for me, like, my obvious one would be Internet Historian. Like, every one of his videos are fucking brilliant, and like he just picks the most random things to talk about. Bedtime stories, which I really like. They do like unsolved mysteries and like ghost stories, that kind of thing. But they have like great, you know, hand-drawn artwork that accompanies it, and it's really like well described, well presented. So that stuff's good just for like chilling out and listen to. And probably Steve MRE, just for like random, like eating weird ration packs from like World War II and stuff. Yeah, it's just like stuff that you could just like listen to in the background. So that's probably mine.
I watched the infographics show. That channel like really just breaks down all kinds of things, history, current events, everything into like entertaining, digestible, animated, narrated, like 15 to 30 minute short videos. And it's like I watched like 20 or 30 documentaries on North Korea this way over the past few weeks, just dive down a rabbit hole. It's a really awesome channel. But I think they have like 13 million subscribers, so it's not obscure, that's for sure.
Nice.
I love watching Abroad in Japan. Chris Broad doing that. Wonderful channel, just great, interesting videos, incredibly well made. I watch a plethora of otter channels, including Costumet, because you can't see on my microphone. Oh yeah, just tilt this a little bit across. I actually have the two otters of Hana and there you go, Kataru on my keyring. And then I watch a lot of Brixie, who's a Lego channel, because I'm a huge fucking nerd, if you didn't know.
I knew.
We guessed. Nice.
So I actually got more. I mean, I got a ton. I would say the vast majority of the channels I follow have absolutely nothing to do with culture war or any identity politics.
Well, it's nice to just have a peaceful life sometimes, isn't it? And just get away from it. You know, just listen to people talking about wholesome stuff. Next one is a question for you, Az, from Stephen Bobo. Says, question for Az, what's your opinion of the upcoming Final Fantasy 16 game?
I purposely tried not to see too much because I want to be surprised, inverted commas, when it comes out. I've seen, a couple of things, but it's Yoshi P who's helming it. Yoshi P crafted an incredible story for Final Fantasy 14. And so I do expect it to be an exceptionally good narrative. And I'm very much looking forward to it.
Nice. Chucksenhausen says, so I know Creed 3 is well liked and Sly is still a producer on it, but knowing he isn't in it feels wrong. Also, Az agrees with me that this should have ended at Balboa and not kept going with that gobshite Adonis. I mean, I just got done doing a review of Creed 3 today, and I think my take was like it's a decent enough movie. It's a pretty workmanlike sequel. Didn't really like wow me or shock me. It was just kind of fine, I guess. It felt like it took the basic plot structure of Rocky 5 and just ported it into this new franchise they've got going on, because each of the movies just seems to borrow from previous Rocky films. Like Creed 2 was basically just Rocky 3 with a slightly different format, with the Ivan Drago angle ported into it, but it's the same structure. He's overconfident, he's takes a kick in the early stages, has to like find himself and then come back stronger for the third one, for the rematch. And then this is just like he's retired, he takes on a protege, they turn against him, then he has to fight him.
Does Rocky get a mention?
Nah. And I don't know if that's because they're trying to leave open the possibility of him coming back for the fourth one, because it's like you know, he's not officially confirmed dead or anything. He's just not in it at all. And I'm fine with him not being in it because honestly, they were running out of things for him to do anyway. And it's like, if this series was ever going to take off, it has to stop relying on him as a fucking crutch to just like constantly prop up interest.
Fucking hope it's taken off. They're on the third one. Like they should probably be there by now. Yeah, this isn't that bad where it just gets shitter as it goes along.
But this is kind of what it's been though, isn't it? It's just like Rocky kind of like stirring up fan interest to keep it going, but nobody really cares that much about Adonis Creed. And it's like in this one, yeah, like they're already playing with the idea that he's over the hill and he's like this old veteran who's coming back for one last rumble. And it's like Michael B. Jordan is like 35. Like bit early to be doing this, you know? So yeah, I don't know where they're gonna take it if they do a fourth one, but I don't know. It seems to be getting an okay reception, I guess. Joshua Levesque says, hello, any chance the movie 65 can get an EFAP?
Oh, right,
the dinosaur one Chris is going to go see tonight, I think.
Dude, if Chris Gore's telling me that... Did I hear him right? Did you say it's going to be shit? Is that what he said?
Yeah, because it didn't even get a press screening.
Yeah. So... I mean, there's no chatter about this. There's no buzz around this film at all, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that then.
You ever played the game Turok? It just looks like that game. Yeah.
Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah. He said, hopefully.
That franchise fell apart massively.
Yeah. Marksman of 117B says, MauLer, Drinker can now talk about Puss in Boots. Yeah, I can.
We could. But will we? Az, you haven't seen that, have you?
No, I hear it's good.
You'd love it. Simple as that, because everybody would. The only people who don't like that film are literally from hell. They don't have goals.
Oh, now you've put pressure on me.
I mean, I think you'd struggle not to like it. It's pretty good.
I
did my review of it. It's currently like in the midst of being copyright claimed because for some reason it's been blocked in half the world.
Oh, awesome!
No idea why. Like it had been out for like 2 days and then suddenly it gets a copyright claim. Like fucking why? Especially when I'm praising your movie. Like fucking people are going to see this just because I said about it. But yeah, sure, okay. Make my life hard. Also, Marksman of 117B says, "Don't stand where I'm flamethrowing." Okay, is that a quote from it?
It's Jack Horner when he's got the Phoenix. Says, "Don't stand where I'm flamethrowing." It's good shit.
I love how he just straight up kills his own people as well.
Doesn't give a shit at all.
Yeah. Joshua Levesque says, "You're gonna shoot a puppy, are you, Jack?" Yeah, in the face. Why?
Every quote from him is fucking great.
I love when you find out like he's just had a normal happy upbringing.
Yeah,
it's like, but I'm just a dick. I'm just evil because I love it.
Oh, it's nice to have, you know.
Yeah. Andrew McCarthy says, for Watchmen, which is better, the director's or the ultimate cut? I don't know. Like I've only seen the theatrical and whatever extended version I've seen of it. So I don't know if that was the director, The Watchmen. So I don't know if what I saw was the ultimate cut or the director's cut.
I think it's the director's cut. I've seen. I don't think I've seen the ultimate cut.
Right.
I'm not sure the comparison on those ones. I'm not sure.
I mean, I actually stole a line from that movie in one of my streams today as well.
Wow.
I found the shotgun on Sons of the Forest. And then when they attacked my base, I was mowing them down. And I just started screaming, "I'm not stuck on this island with you. You're stuck on this island with me." It's a Watchmen moment, you know?
It's a good quote.
It's a great quote, and it's a great part of the movie.
It's when he throws fucking chip fat oil over the
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Thinking about it, it's like, oof.
That's rough. A grim way to go.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're not getting that off easily, so you just have to stop it.
Oh, it's gonna leave a mark.
It's gonna keep boiling away for a while. Also from Andrew McCarthy says, thoughts on the Mad Max trilogy and which is your favorite? So probably the Road Warrior, like the second one.
Yeah, second one is my
In
favorite.
terms of like, I think it got the good balance of like action, amazing stunt work, but still relatively grounded.
Pretty gruesome. Well, I mean, gruesome for the time anyway.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Not
Stephen
a happy thing.
No, it's not a lovely world. Stephen Bobo says, question for the whole panel. Have you guys looked at the AI-generated 80s artwork of your favorite shows, movies, and games? Not that specifically, no.
I mean, I've seen plenty of like this imagined as this imagined as this. I don't know if that is going to get bored and old soon, but yeah, some of them look really interesting, and some of them make you think they're real. Get all the results. Some of them look like shit, as you'd expect.
Yeah. Next one is Andrew McCarthy says, thoughts on the OG Planet of the Apes movies? Oh. So this is like pre-Tim Burton and everything. Just
the Tim Burton one. What the fuck?
Terrible. Yeah. I always remember the girl in that. What was her name?
But why Mark Wahlberg?
I know. God. Anyway, yeah, the OG ones. Obviously the first one, an absolute classic. From memory, I think they get progressively more goofy as they go, and just kind of milk the premise a bit too much, because they did like 4 of them, didn't they?
Really? I didn't see all 4 of them.
Yeah. Planet of the Apes, like Return to the Planet.
I only saw the first one, I think.
Well, yeah, because then like I'm sure 1 or 2 of them travel back in time to the present day, and then like they end up spawning like a whole race of apes that become like servants for humans, who then stage a rebellion against them and like fight to take over the planet, and then eventually overthrow the humans. And then there's a big war over that, and then it culminates in like a nuclear exchange that just destroys the entire planet. So it's lovely.
Do you remember Abraham Lincoln?
Oh no!
Oh,
yeah. I forgot about that.
Abraham Lincoln.
And apes dressed in like cop outfits and stuff.
Do you think that was like that's what happens when Tim Burton is forced to make a film that isn't Tim Burton-y at all? Like when they're like make widestream appeal, and he doesn't know how.
You gotta have the twist at the end, Tim. You gotta have the twist. It's gotta be like, something different, though.
Well, yeah, it's like the original twist was really shocking with the Statue of Liberty, and it's like that's an iconic moment in cinema. We need to top that. It's like, what can we do that's nobody would expect? Well, how about everyone's turned into an ape? Like, no one will expect that.
No one expects the ape.
That'll be at EFAP movies one day, easily.
Oh, it's legendary. Grimnack says,
Drink in the chat. Hey, Gary.
Hey, Gary. Drinker, you magnificent drunk, you, and MauLer, you eldritch being of longness, the man who changes sides trope. I think the 13th Warrior and the Last Samurai both did it very well. What are your thoughts? I mean, 13th Warrior didn't really do it. Like, he doesn't really change sides so much as he just allies with the Viking faction, but like they weren't his enemies or anything.
There's something of an argument to say that about the Last Samurai. You could tell he was super uncomfortable. He was mainly there for the money, right? Because he was in the opening. He's like running out and he gets fired, so he's just picking up jobs where he can, but he hates having to do the jobs of like erasing groups of people and stuff.
Well, yeah, but I think like you could definitely make the argument of him switching sides there, where it's like he's very much employed by one side to fight the other and ends up joining the other to fight his original side. Whereas with 13th Warrior, it's like he joins up with a new faction to fight a third faction, which is
definitely true. I was just thinking about it, like his spirit isn't in it, right?
Yeah,
and then it is when he's on the other team. But yeah.
But yeah, the Last Samurai does that trope pretty well, I would say. RRTNZ says, Italians know about fashion. God, Ted, remember that Italian fella? He was so good at fashion they had to shoot him. With lines like that, it'd be a sin not to review Father Ted. Cheers, drinker. That is very true.
How does one review Father Ted? Are you going to do like a season or whole series? Would you?
I mean, legit, you could go episode by episode and just talk about it and have a great old time. But
do it.
Yeah, one day. Also from the same guy says, I'll raise my glass to you as it's my birthday today, which means it's also Chuck Norris's birthday, far more worthy of celebration, because the boogeyman checks under his bed for Chuck Norris.
Oh, wow.
Well, let's take a moment to wish happy birthday then to Chuck Norris and RRTNZ.
Cheers, Chuck.
There we go.
And the boogeyman. Don't leave out the boogeyman. Nobody cares about him.
Abba Yaga.
Is it his birthday though, or is he just generally afraid of Chuck Norris?
Why not both? Why not both?
Maybe. Niall Jordan says, MauLer, is it true that when you go offline, your true voice sounds just like organized chaos?
Could you imagine?
I don't think you can be as nasally as that. I don't think any human can.
I liken his voice to a rat fucking a drain pipe.
You should. That's one of those things. Like, if you can't do anything about that voice, use AI. Okay, they can help you.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Don't know what you're saying.
I don't know that.
That's the voice of a real man's man right there.
I can picture a robot being like, "What is that? We need to fix this."
Yeah.
Like, you don't even sound human. Like, we gotta fix you.
Ah, Jesus. RRTNZ says, that brings us along to Dodgeball, a film so great that it has both thumbs up from Chuck Norris and William Shatner, as well as pain and humiliation that we can all laugh at. It's a bold strategy, drinker. Yeah, it is indeed, but it's a great
love that
film.
movie.
Yeah. Not much to criticize with that one. KevBot says, it's open bar on my birthday. God damn, everyone's having birthdays today. I'm 39 today, and for my gift, I want to hear everyone's best impression of the drinker. Cheers.
Going new.
I'll throw it up to the panel. MauLer, do you have one?
I don't fucking. I've never tested any kind of impression of you. Let's go away now.
That's not bad.
Like, I'd have to work at that one.
Go away now. That's the best I got.
Everyone's done all right, I would say. Anyway, to you, my friends, happy birthday. Happy 39th birthday, in fact, KevBot. Ayush Balloony says, hey, Mr. Drinker and MauLer, really enjoy watching your content. Makes workouts fun. I would just like to say 2022 was good for movies. Top Gun, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Triangle of Sadness, Lost City, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Puss in Boots. Menu, also watched 3,000 Years of Longing, Hidden Gem. I mean, we did have the occasional good movie, I suppose, last year, didn't we?
We're in a weird state right now. Feels like a bit of a rumbling is happening in terms of Marvel bleeding everywhere and some of the movies being like kind of surprisingly good. Maybe we're in a good position and have been for better. Sorry, not good. Better.
Yeah. Waylon Bucephus says, thoughts on the movie Sicario?
I adore it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that film for the fact that it's like that's a really good film to rewatch because you get to really understand the protagonist's position because the audience is treated the same way she is. A lot of the characters are aware of exactly what's happening, but they won't tell us nor her until we realize by the end of the film she was only there for official reasons. She was never substantively involved in anything. I think it's really cool.
Yep. The Tickler says, question for all of you. You're making your perfect movie. What genre would it be? Who is your lead actor? Your supporting ones? Who does the music? Who does the cinematography? And who directs it? Cheers all.
Jeez.
I mean, that's pretty detailed. Like,
yeah.
Just give as little or as much detail as you want, I suppose.
Sci-fi.
Slasher.
Fantasy.
Action.
That worked out pretty well.
Got every genre covered.
All right, so the actor we're all picking,
Henry Cavill.
Charles Dance.
I'm bagging him.
I'm gonna grab me Charles Dance while he's still alive. All right.
Arnie.
I would say Jenna Ortega, but she's already in a slasher movie.
You can always do another one.
Make her a new screen queen.
You can get her. This is your fantasy. You can
That's
make anything
true.
happen.
Jenna Ortega.
Nice. What was the other things? Like
Director?
any particular director you would like?
Ooh, I might grab Edgar Wright. See what he can do.
You bastard.
Yeah. I will resurrect Wes.
No, you're not allowed to do that. That's cheating.
It's my fantasy. Oh man. Who directed Haunting at Hill House?
Mike Flanagan.
I will pick Mike Flanagan.
Good choice.
Evan Kushner.
So we are allowed to pick. I mean, if anything goes, it's going to change all of our answers, isn't it? Fine, whatever.
All right, cool.
Go, just say Jar Jar
Wow,
Abrams.
Drinker,
Just
you didn't
say it,
even give an
Drinker,
answer.
Just say it.
Oh, sorry. What was the question again for me?
So you making your perfect film. You have action movie. Who did you pick for actor?
Took Henry Cavill.
Yeah. So who's directing?
Ooh, man.
David Lynch is a great one.
If it was just like it doesn't matter if they're active anymore or alive anymore, I might take John McTiernan.
I had a feeling.
I would probably have him.
Yeah, can I change mine to David Lynch?
Okay, yeah, if you want.
You can. We'll allow it. You know. Yeah. There we go. I think that was it.
You ball.
You ball. Do it. I want to see him do a Star Wars movie.
Do it.
I want to see him do a proper movie.
Yeah. Enoch.
Oh, he'll be better than Taika Waititi's. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Probably would.
I mean, that's not hard. Yeah.
Well, it'll be more entertaining.
He says, I just rewatched Event Horizon. Hopefully AI, facefake, etc. will someday allow Paul W.S. Anderson to rebuild his deleted scenes without reshoots. Probably the only way that it will happen. I mean, maybe it's just budget, I suppose. Is it going to be worth it for the studio? I say it would be. Got A says, Hail Drinker and Friends. Question for you all. What is your favourite bad or unpopular movie? A movie that is subjectively bad, cheesy, or cringe-inducing, but you love it anyway. For me,
Batman
it's
and Robin.
Mars. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Hesitation
That was
there.
fucking quick. Okay.
That film's amazing, okay?
That's
I don't know.
tough.
Was it Pacific Rim? Was that considered good or bad when it came out? I don't even know.
Not so
but
good.
I really... Right, because I rewatched it on the flight over from America, and I fucking loved it. It might have been that I was a bit drunk at the time, but I was like, this is great. Giant robot goes smash against giant monster. I'm happy.
You okay?
You go, Movie Cynic. I'm thinking.
I think the movie Terrifier. I'm sticking with the horror theme. Have you guys even heard of that one?
No.
It's
heard
a
of it.
really low budget. It was made for like $35,000. But if you're a slasher fan, it's unbelievably good. It was clearly made by fans. But all the same, it is objectively an awful movie. But I absolutely adore it and recommend it if you're a horror person. The gore is insane.
All right.
Nice.
You're hitting us with some good questions.
Well,
I
do it.
I don't know. I just have impeccable taste in movies.
What about the Snyder Cut? There you go.
Fuck you. That's a great one. Oh man. I mean, is this what critically is a bad movie, but not,
Well, bad by your own standards, but fuck it, you enjoy the hell out of it, you know?
Because, I mean, License to Kill was critically not well received. I think it's a fucking amazing Bond film. Does that work or not?
We want one that you're like, when watching it, like, God, this is so bad, but I don't care.
Oh, God, that's different because I was watching that going, this is just fucking great.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Is the answer.
Okay.
Okay. It's unconventional,
What was
but
that?
we'll
What
go
was
with it.
that one that I don't know. Oh, man. I don't
Do you want to think about it while we can?
Yeah,
A lot of people bringing up John Carter of Mars.
I don't remember that being like terrible.
I think you have to slog through the first bit.
I got one. I just got one.
Do it.
Okay. Red Sonja. It's terrible. It's really badly. Bridget Nielsen is the worst actress in the fucking world.
You just don't appreciate her acting genius.
I love that film though. I love it. I unashamedly love it.
Well, it's like the third Conan movie that we never got, basically, isn't it?
Sort of. Yeah. I mean, Arnold's just Conan in it.
By a different name, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Red Sonja, because it's I rewatched it just a few days ago as well, and it's hideously acted. The set pieces are absolute hot garbage, and I loved every second of it.
Nice. Hostman Socrates says, "Hail to the blue boy. Good seeing you on open bar, old chap."
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Timmy04 says, "How you doing there? You hit your head kind of hard there. You okay? Huh? Woke Hollywood, frequently bad movies. It's 2003. What you talking about? Come on, Return of the King just released. Let's go buy tickets." See, if that was real, I'd be a happy man. It was all just a horrible dream.
I remember 2003.
That was a nice time.
Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Cozzy says, "In my opinion, 2020 was the last great year for movies." Fucking hell. The Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Ford versus Ferrari, Irishman, Parasite.
They said 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joker came out in 19.
All of them came out in 19. I think they mean 2019.
Yeah, maybe. Parasite, Lighthouse, Jojo Rabbit. What's your take on that? Plus Ricky Gervais's Oscar rants. Yeah, I mean, if you're going by all those movies, then yeah, that was
That's the thing. I don't
even
even think those are good. A lot of those were great. Like we you know, it was quite fun to have a couple of movies in a row that I was like, damn. Everyone should go see Ford v Ferrari if you haven't, by the way. It's really good.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet, and I really want to. Still haven't seen it.
It's like, it's not even like it's a complicated movie or anything.
No.
It's just a nice, honest, well done film.
Really like the characters. I really like the story, and effects are really strong, and it's a really cool bit of history, I guess, as well.
Yep. Ofer Ravid says, "Hey Drinker, I'm planning a European vacation starting with Scotland. Any recommendations of what to do and where to go, etc.?" I mean, it's kind of hard to condense this just into a 10-second super chat response. Like this
up, down, left, right.
Yeah,
into
it's
a 148 character tweet, please.
Yeah, it's like, this may shock you, but there are quite a lot of things in Scotland and places that you can go to. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, the simple ones would be like, go to Edinburgh, go to the castle, go to like loads of these historical monuments and stuff. There's loads of bars and and stuff like that in Edinburgh that you can enjoy. Glasgow is great for the nightlife. There's loads of big museums about the industrial history of the city and all that good stuff, so you can for sure see that. And go up into the Highlands and see all the lochs and the mountains and things. They are very pretty and you'll enjoy it, I'm sure.
Yay.
Grishnag says, 24-hour open bar for the 50th episode. I don't do that kind of thing. That's an EFAP thing.
Maybe. Look, guys, I'll try and push him to 5 hours, but that's the best I could do.
Yeah, I'll have to start earlier. Pace my drinking. Lubor Kambal says, "What's your favorite gin brand and flavor?" So, Tanqueray is probably my favorite, and orange flavor is the best one that they do, in my opinion. So yeah, orange gin is very nice. AJ 929 says, "Just want to say thank you, gents, for your efforts. You've all made me a better writer and thinker." Thank you. Glad we could help. Birdman, As didn't know. Not intentionally, maybe. Birdman says, "Drinker, where do I find the rest of the Ryan Drake series following from Redemption? My mum loved it. Only expensive used copies on Amazon." That is a bit of a pisser. Yeah, I'm trying to work on the availability in the States because they're not easy to get. But I think if you can switch Amazon over to a print-on-demand service, then I don't have to ship them, or the publisher doesn't have to ship them all the way from the UK. They can just print them in America and send them to you that way. So that may be what we can do. Echoes of the Ancient gave me a super sticker, so thanks, man. Mr. Wise Guy says, "Drinker, please make a video on Cocaine Bear." Well,
I recommend it. It's good.
I'm going to go see it shortly, so it'll be done. Antriv Singh says, "Howdy, Drinker and gang. What's your favorite Bond car or cars that's not the DB5? For me, the Bond cars are just as important as Bond himself. For me, it's the Toyota 2000 GT from You Only Live Twice." It's got to be the Lotus Esprit from
Spy Who Loved Me?
Spy Who Loved Me, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Yeah.
I defer to those two. Cars are cool.
Cars are cool. The Aston Martin Vanquish was pretty nice too. I have to admit.
Living Daylights.
No,
Is it
that
Living
was no, that was
That's
that was
Pierce
the-
Brosnan era, isn't it?
yes. So in an otherwise terrible movie, it was a good car.
Oh, the Dine of the Day car, is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty nice.
which was the Aston Martin in Living Daylights? They used the DB. Is it the Vantage? Yeah. I think.
Next one is Andrew Clark, who says, "But I hear that the MCU isn't real." Well, I don't know what to tell you. We got empowered by it tonight. Campbell Patterson says, "Kevin Feige is a gold man."
The MCU doesn't exist, but here's a 4-part series just highlighting the women and fuck the dudes.
Yep.
Doesn't exist.
Zis says, "Drinker and Longman, while I bugged Gary and Mr. Gore about this a few days ago, I'm sad to report a crime being committed at the box office. Operation Fortune, directed by Guy Ritchie, is being criminally underwatched." I didn't even know that was a thing which existed, so...
Me either.
Man, they are not doing a good job advertising this one. Party CV says, "This is going to make me commit seppuku, isn't it?" Yeah, you got empowered with that, so what can I say, man? Jack Tees says, "The Guardian has reported Rogue Squadron by Patty Jenkins shelved, as well as a Star Wars film written by Michael Waldron." Yeah, that's never going to happen, is it?
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah. James Moore says, "I was sad you used Strange World as an example of a bad Disney movie in your Puss in Boots video, since they deliberately hid it to make it bomb because it's about generational trauma with dads and sons. I thought it was a decent movie." I know that it got absolutely slated and it bombed hard, so yeah, I think it was quite big on the message as well. So yeah, I just used that as an easy example. Realistic Delinquent says, "You've had the Cynic, now get Despot of Antrim." Well, I've spoken to him, so he's going to come on at some point as well. He actually does really good videos. He's an Irish guy, and he does kind of like the Drinker Fixies with things like Rings of Power. But yeah, some of his solutions were pretty good, because what's the woman that oversees all the Amazon movie projects? Is it?
Oh,
the name's on the tip of my tongue as well. I'll let Sulky. It's Jennifer Sulky.
Oh yeah, I just saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like one of his suggestions was like, so part of what we're gonna have to do here is build a fake production to keep Jennifer Sulky like occupied and make her believe that it's going to be just the same garbage as we had in season 1. Meanwhile, we're going to quietly work on the real season 2, like, so we can get this through production. And it's like we have to solve all these ridiculous plot issues and stuff with it. So yeah, it was good stuff. Hostman Socrates says, "Justice for Carol Danvers. She was awesome as Ms. Marvel, and now Disney has ruined her."
Well,
I don't know. Was she ever
Marvel
popular?
Comics ruined her, actually, before Disney got anywhere near her.
I mean, did she start out good? Did she start out quite likable,
Well,
and then
she
gradually
was
changed?
well as Ms. Marvel from what Gary says. I never read her stuff, but what Gary says, yeah, she was likable as Ms. Marvel, and then who was it? Was it Kelly Sue DeConnick who did a push for Captain Marvel and that's what you get.
Yeah. Mr. Esquire says, "Come on, MauLer, it's about femme empowerment. Bonus points if those females have a Johnson." Oh.
It's just the whole thing is such a mess at this point. You just have to laugh. It's the Joker thing. You used to think life's a tragedy. It's a comedy.
Yeah. I'll do a couple more and then finish up. Tom here says, "Marvel's on their way out. I've never seen such a shameless and tone-deaf display of self-aggrandizing in my life.
Yes.
What world do these people live in?"
Yeah.
Yeah. There's quite a bit of fart sniffing going on there, I suppose. And JK Fozo says, "Hey Drinker, any plans for another members-only stream for Patreon? They're a lot of fun. You should get MauLer in to join if possible. Thanks for what you do. Truly, yeah, I would happily do another one. It has been a little while since I've done the last one, so yeah, I think we're about due one. So I'll try and do something like that. But you know, it'd be a bit unfair to try and bring MauLer in. What's that?
What?
Nothing.
Okay. Everything's fine as having a normal one. But yeah, I'll get another one set up pretty soon, I think.
By the way, boys, get the Resident Evil 4 demo downloaded.
Yeah, it's out now.
It's out new.
It's definitely not why I want to finish this stream fairly prompt.
I'm
anyway,
downloading it as we speak.
Yeah. Anyway, well, gentlemen, it's been a real pleasure having you guys on tonight. As always, great to have you on, mate. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Movie Cynic, it's your first time on Open Bar. Hopefully, it wasn't too horrific for you.
I had a blast. Sorry about the nervousness at the front, but I covered it.
Oh, that's all right, man.
I got through it.
All good.
Yeah.
And of course, thanks to Chris Gore.
Yay!
Yes. Give us
Good
some
man.
good insights as well. And, well, thank you to all the lovely people in chat as well, who I'm sure are quite keen to play Resident Evil 4 as well, a lot of them. So we'll let you guys
That's
go.
what everyone's going to do now.
Yeah. Yeah. I got mine pre-ordered as well. But yeah, thank you for all the awesome super chats. And as we always do, we'll catch up on the remaining ones on Sunday. So thank you for that. And thank you to my awesome mods who do the same great job that they always do. But for now, that is all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.